Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Lost the Battle of Trihexa and went to Sailor Moon Universe Part 2. Before we start, please go support Gokuplochi for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 18, Letting Go of Past Love, a Promise for Eternity. Private room. Issei noticed that it was not Office's personal room, but rather the room that the angels had made a long time ago. Issei. It seems that Office rescued this, the room specially made for that, but where? He looked around and found her. Serena was sitting on the bed in a white dress that he had never seen before, and she now had silver hair and a calmer appearance since the last time he saw her, although for some reason she looked more beautiful to him. Issei. Hello. Serena. How long I've wanted to talk to you face to face about this issue. Gets up and walks to face the brown-haired man. Fix things and understand. Issei. I did it mainly so I wouldn't see you sad. I know a lot about what Darien meant to you, and your friends told me how you felt the times you thought about losing him. Serena. And you thought it would be much worse if you told me that now he really died. His golden crystal was shattered, so his chances of coming back are now zero. Issei. Yes, and I know perfectly well that feeling of losing the one you love the most. Rias, Akeno, Asia, girls. Serena. I know you lost all the girls you loved. She could see how he had a surprised face. I had asked your friends a little more about you, and they told me about your harem, about how you felt with them and how much you loved them. Issei. Yes, so I better understand your feelings about losing someone you love. Serena. But leaving that aside, my question is, what motivated you not to tell me anything? Issei. Because I promised to protect you. Serena. You have another reason for that. Continues to see her surprised expression. I may be a scatterbrain, but I realized that you protected me from the truth for a reason beyond what you promised. What is that reason? Issei. If I told you, you would hate me a lot, and now you would really mean it. Serena. I can imagine, and I'm not going to get mad because you tell me. Issei. Even though I promised myself to respect you and never say it out of respect for your relationship, I have to admit that. Serena. Yes. Issei. I have to admit that I love you. I did all this because I love you. Although she had an inkling of his answer, she couldn't help but show a look of surprise when she heard it from his own mouth. Serena. Are you serious? Since when? Issei. Let's say it was since I started to know you. The first time I saw you, you caught my attention, but then when I started to know you and get closer to you, I inevitably began to fall in love with you. Serena. Continue. Issei. In addition to the desire to protect you, the love I have for you now was also born. I have even repressed my desire to do perverted things to you, but I can't tell him that. Serena. Issei. Please, I just ask you not to hate me, and if you still do, I want you to know that I will keep my word and protect you for life. Serena. You know, I also have a confession to make to you. Slowly approaches Issei. Issei. Why yes. Starts to feel his heart beating faster. Without expecting it, Serena took Issei's face and slowly began to approach him. Both could hear each other's hearts beating rapidly, and finally they joined their lips to give each other a tender and surprising kiss. Issei. What a pleasant feeling. Serena. How warm. They continued to kiss while wrapping their arms around each other, letting themselves be carried away by the moment. They lasted like that for a couple of seconds that felt like an eternity for both of them, until they had to separate to look into each other's eyes. Issei. So that means you like me too. Serena. You even made me doubt my love for Darien, but out of respect for our friendship and my relationship, I also wanted to hide these feelings forever, but I can't anymore. In this time that we were separated, I know that I need you by my side. Issei. I also feel the same as you, Serena. I need you by my side. Girls, I will fulfill your last wish to move forward. Serena. Then please accept my feelings, Darien. Even though you didn't tell me, I know you want me to continue, so don't worry, I'll be fine from now on. After saying what they wanted, they continued the kiss while moving towards the bed where they fell. They separated to look at each other again. Serena was on top of Issei, and he realized that she had let her hair down and could say with total certainty that it was as if he had a goddess in front of him. Issei. Serena, allow me to replace him. Serena. It's not necessary, since you have a very big place in my heart too, and I also apologize for what I said to you weeks ago. Issei. I also apologize for hiding everything from you. Serena. Then all is forgiven. Then let's promise something. Issei. What thing? Serena. We will defeat Kurai and survive, we will bring peace, and when everything returns to normal, you and I will get married and live happily ever after. Issei. I can promise you that without fail. Serena. I love you, my Crimson Emperor. Issei. And I love you too, my Moon Princess. They both kissed again and thus began to consummate the love they felt for each other inside that room. Tsukino residence. Everyone had found out where Serena was and her idea, so they were able to calm down, and each one went back to doing their things well. That's what they would have done if Office hadn't mentioned that she put a magic circle capable of recording what happens in the room in real time, so they gathered in the living room. Turned on the television and began to watch what happened from when Issei entered until the good part began. Amy. Everything was very nice until we got to this part, red as a tomato. Ray. I feel like we should take this down now for privacy reasons. Lita. Holy Virgin. Mina. But that Serena has a sweet tooth, just look at how she moves, gets punched in the arm by Ray, ouch. Satsuna. This is not for children, covering Haru and Milika's eyes. Haru. I'm already a teenager. Milika's. Isn't this how babies are made? Surzich's. We'll talk about that later. Milika's. He. Haruka. Not bad, but gets pinched by Michiru, ouch. Michiru. Don't say anything nasty, we're already seeing it. Sammy. There are two things that a child does not want to see in his life, his parents giving him a little brother and his sister doing the same. Serafal. If you want I can teach you, ouch, was bitten on the leg by Kunu. Kunu. We shouldn't be talking about that. Saji. Tremendous titan kills Hayato. Sererg. It is clear that his training was not only for combat. Asper. How impressive Issei, I must learn more about him. Kiba. Did you just draconify her? Well decided, I'll buy a wheelchair for Serena. Ali. Not bad, but mine is bigger. How cow. I agree. Prom Cruich. What a good way to move. Ray. And are you gay or what's up talking about Issei more? Artemis. Thank goodness we sent Diana to get some fruit. Luna. Yes, I never thought I'd see Serena like that, how perverted. Ray. I heard noise, but I never got to see the act. Rini. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Albion. I wonder how Drake is doing. Brita. Looking at everything in first person. Hafner. Or crying very loudly. Nana. Hahaha, poor Uncle Drake. Surzich's and Satsuna left, taking the younger ones Milika's, Hadaru, Kunu, Gasper, Sammy with them to somewhere else, while they were followed by Serafal, while the rest stayed watching the video like gossips. Chapter 18.5 Break to the beach. 3 days have passed and things have improved for the better in the team. Issei and Serena made their relationship official, and their friends congratulated them with surprise, because they even saw how they did the act. Serena returned to her usual self, in addition to returning her hair to its natural blonde, which calmed everyone down, and it seemed that everything was going to be calm. And of course, what better tranquility than a trip? Streets. At this moment Issei and Serena were returning from school, things were going smoothly, although half the school almost made a scandal when they found out from a stranger Mina that Serena and Issei started a relationship. Although this excited Molly quite a bit, who was happy that her friend was back to being the same as she had been depressed for weeks, but after that everything was calm. Issei. What do you want to eat tonight? Serena. Anything as long as it's tasty. Issei. Okay, I'll make some hamburgers. Serena. You know things have been very calm. Issei. Storm. Serena. Nah, everything will be fine as long as we work as a team. Issei. Yes, but what will the others do? Serena. They will surely do something boring. After saying that, they simply went to eat hamburgers, taking advantage of the fact that they were alone, although when they got home they would find a surprise on the recorder. Beach. Without saying a word to Serena or Issei, the sailors inner and outer, the members of DXD, Rini, Ray and Sammy, all went to a beach that was on a small private island note. More specifically, the one that appears in episode 67, and without further ado, they began to have fun on the beach. Hadaru. Gasper, take off that swimsuit and put on a male one. Gasper. No, this one is too pretty. Milika's. That sounds fun, I'll help you, Hadaru. Sammy. Me too, it bothers me. Gasper. Ai. Asper began to be chased by the small group led by an angry Hadaru, since by the way, the swimsuit is hers, while the others played in the sand. Sererg. Come on Regulus, it's just water. Regulus. And no thanks Mr. Sererg, I'd rather stay playing in the sand with Luna, Diana and Artemis, far away from the water with the three mentioned. Luna. We are fine. Diana. Who wants to bury dad in the sand? Luna. Regulus. Me. Artemis. What? Feels like he's being held by someone mine. Mina. Soft and cooperative. Artemis. Help me. Kiba realizes he only sees his head. Did he bury you in the sand? Kiba. I just got out of changing and he buried me, so we'll suffer together, partner. Artemis. Partner. Both were buried, and the group took advantage of the opportunity to do different things since they were buried. While playing in the water they were doing other things. Rini. Can you enhance your skills thanks to that? Ray. Yes, showing his busted gear in addition to my physical abilities being improved. Do you want to try a race around the entire island? Rini. I accept. Amy. I'll be the referee, although I'll have to swim without warning. She was lifted by Saji, who was carrying her on his shoulders. Oh hey. Saji. Then I'll run around the island so you can see it without getting tired. Amy. And no, besides you will get tired too. Saji. I'm a demon so this will be like a walk in the park. Amy. If you say so, it's okay. Okay girls, on your marks, watches how they get ready in the water. Go. The race started and Saji continued to follow them from the ground with Ami on his shoulders while another group was calmly sunbathing. Ray. This is life, besides being able to relax. Michiru. Although, wasn't it a little rude not to invite those lovebirds on our trip? Haruka. Are you kidding? With what we saw in the video, they'll surely be doing a lot of things while they're alone. We should have left some cameras to see what kind of poses they were doing this time. Gets kneed by Michiru. Ouch. Surziches. Although it would be disrespectful, but I have to admit that it wouldn't be bad. I think Issei infected me with a bit of his perversion. Receives a kick from Satsuna. Ouch. Satsuna. You better calm down or we'll throw a lot of cold water on you. Quietly in her chair. Kunu. Making some drawings in the sand. I have to take advantage of the fact that Mayu couldn't come, so I can make the most of it. There they come. She was surprised to see Gasper running away from his pursuers, trapped in a bubble, and the others couldn't catch him. Gasper. They'll never catch me, you hear, never. Sammy. He's fast when it comes to these things, notices Volley who was approaching them. Mr. Volley, stop him. Volley. What? Drinking from a coconut without realizing that Gasper was running in his direction. What? Without giving time to do anything, Volley ended up being run over by Gasper, although thanks to this the boy fell inside the bubble, completely stopping his movement. Gasper. Notices that he is no longer in the bubble and that in front of him was Hateru. Hello. Hateru. It's time for you to dress like a man. Gasper. Nuuo is held by Sammy and Milika's traders. Sammy. I'm sorry Gasper, but you disturb me when you dress like that. Milika's. I just want to help. The group took Gasper to force him to change. Haruka, realizing this, stood up to everyone's surprise in defense of Gasper. Haruka. If he doesn't want to, you shouldn't force him, especially because I understand him. Michiru. Oh god, here we go. Ignores the situation, reading a book. Haruka. If he feels comfortable like that, then leave it like that. He has no obligation to dress however he doesn't want. Gasper. Oh, Haruka, quite moved. Hateru. Dad. Haruka, don't meddle in our affairs. Haruka. He just disrespected me, it must be that boy's fault. Michiru. Sure, it's not like I'm in my teens. Satsuna. Let him have his revenge. Surziches. Good luck Gasper. Gasper. Gulps. Oh my god. Haruka joined them and they dragged Gasper to force him to change. Ray along with Lita and Sarerg approached Tavali who was still on the ground. Ray. Hey, are you alive? Poking him with a stick. Lita. I don't think so. Sarerg. Rest in peace. Tavali. I'm not dead. Gets up. We better keep swimming calmly before I get angry. The three. As you say. The rest of the day was spent in a calm and peaceful manner. A day of rest was good for anyone and they were no exception. Tsukino residence. At this moment Issei and Serena were watching television with their mouths open. Why? Well, because they found the video where they were recorded having sex. They were so surprised that they dropped the hamburgers they were eating. Issei. I can't believe they recorded our first time. Serena. When they come back they're going to hear me. Apart from going to the beach without telling us, they're going to record us. Issei. Well, at least we got even with those who decided to stay. In a corner of the room were Cao and Serafel, tied and gagged as they had received a tremendous scolding from the couple and that was their punishment. Cao. If I had known they would tie me up, I would have stayed watching that movie with Molly. Serafel. I shouldn't have listened to Kunu. I knew that there was obviously no production for a magical girl movie and they went to the beach without me. You will pay for this, Kunu. Serena. Let the others enjoy this day. When they return we will talk seriously. Issei. And Ascalon will be with me. Now let's destroy this. Serena. Yes. Greg. Sighs. Well, at least he doesn't talk about breasts as much anymore. The rest of the day was spent destroying the recording, while Cao and Serafel watched everything from a corner. Later, they untied themselves and returned to their homes. Chapter 19. Decided fight. It's been a few days since everything returned to normal and everyone was calm, except for the day when everyone was scolded like little children by Issei and Serena. Serena almost choked Ray and spanked the pair of sisters Rini and Ray. Although of course, the fact that Serena and Issei started a relationship left a certain blue-haired person in the group with certain thoughts. School. It was already late and all the students were leaving to go home or take a detour to go to another area, although some stayed to go to their respective clubs for their daily activities. At this moment Ami and Lita were in the boxing club, where they could see Sererg helping his classmates improve in that sport. Ami. Why are we here? Lita. I was waiting for it to end to leave and you are in the same situation, but with Saji. Ami. Oh yes, now as the student council president he is a little busier, but he will surely finish soon. Hey Lita, I have a question for you. Lita. Shoot, drinking something. Amy. How do you know when you like someone? Lita ended up spitting out what she was drinking because she was quite surprised that Ami had asked her about the subject. Lita. Well I don't know how to tell you. Ami. Since everything reminds you of your ex, I thought you would know a lot about the subject. Lita. Punches him in the arm. Don't rub it in the wound if you don't want to end up slammed against the pavement. Ami. Ouch, sorry, I couldn't help it. Rubbing her arm. Well, answering my question. Lita. Well the feeling is different for everyone I think, but you know that you like that person when you think about them all the time and you worry about whether something bad happens to them, in addition to feeling safe by their side and having a lot of confidence in each other. Ami. Is there more? Lita. Maybe your heart beats a lot and you turn redder than fire, I think that's all. Now would you tell me the lucky one? Ami. Well. Sererg. Lita. Ami, please call the ambulance, I've passed by again. They both turned to the ring and could see a boy lying on the ground clearly knocked out and Sererg with boxing gloves, making it clear what happened. Lita. I'll call an ambulance. Ami. I'll let Saji know size more work. They did as requested and after all the hustle and bustle that was caused, they finally went home. The Zuno residence. After that, Saji was able to leave early, leaving the rest to his vice president, so he and Ami arrived home and after doing a couple of things they were both in the living room studying. Ami. Are you done talking on the phone? Saji. Give me a few minutes. Returns to phone for the last time. Sererg, I know you have trained me and I owe you a lot, but you must not go too far with humans. When they ask you to fight seriously, you must contain yourself more. I know that some of you want to respond to their determination, but a human is not the same as a demon. Yes, thank you. We'll talk later. Since Lita will finish giving you the sermon, hangs up and sits on a piece of furniture next to me. Sorry, but it's kind of complicated to keep order. Ami. No, don't worry, it's understandable. Saji. Yes, now I respect more what the president did. Sona. The subject was still a bit difficult for Saji, as he had no fond memories of how he lost not only the person he loved, but also his friends and brothers, who were the only things he had in that world. Ami. Saji. Saji. Nothing, it's already late, so we better go to sleep early. Ami. If you say so. I'd like to know what happened. After collecting everything, they both went to sleep in their rooms, although Ami waited a while and went into Saji's room, finding him deeply asleep. Ami. Approaching his right arm and begins to whisper. Vrita. I know why you came. Bearer of the Ice Lady makes the gauntlet appear on Saji's right hand. My partner won't do it, but I'll tell you what happened. Ami. Won't he wake up while we're talking? Vrita. I'm distracting him right now with a nice dream. Yes, a nice dream with lots of naked women. Human males are so easy to please. Are you ready to listen? Ami. Yeah. Vrita. Coughs a little to start. Well, first you should know that if we managed to seal Trihexa in an area contained by the most powerful beings of our world, however something went wrong in the battle and most of them died and those who remained had to escape to regain strength, but. Ami. But. Vrita. The beast came out of it sealed because there were no one to contain it. Chaos occurred throughout the world, and by the time we reacted it was too late. Precisely the first place of attack was Japan, more specifically the boy's home. Ami. Oh god. Vrita. All of his loved ones were killed in a flash. You must imagine that devastated my partner. Worse was when the beast reappeared and attacked us unawares. They all died in front of him, and he was about to not tell it if it weren't for the Mau Serafal who arrived full of anger to the site, managing to save only him. Ami. I understand that feeling, although not in such a massive way. Vrita. But well woman, that's in the past now, at least for me. I told you so. You know what words to use with my partner, and if you want to make him happier, you can go ahead and say what you feel, girl. Ami. Huh. Turns a little red at the comment. What makes you come to that conclusion? Vrita. The truth is, girl, I'm not very interested in human coexistence, but just by looking at you it's clear that you get along very well and that you're willing to help him in whatever he needs. Ami. Well. Vrita. Also, in the battle where he couldn't damage the image of his former master, you came and destroyed it just by seeing the state he left my partner in size. There's no need for you to complicate things. If you want you can talk to the drag bearer or the bale boy. You're the ones who know him best. Ami. If you say so, thank you Vrita, good night. Rita. Whenever you want girl, good night. These humans affected me in the end. Ami left the room a little more determined in what she would do, while Saji slept peacefully in his room. Mountains. During small moments of rest if they could, the groups trained their sacred gears or skills to improve them. At this moment there were 3 boys running desperately. From what exactly? From a Regulus that had increased its size considerably. Regulus. Runner, I'll eat you all. Asper. I should have accepted that trip to the cinema. Milikas. I should have stayed doing my homework. Sammy. If I suffer, you suffer with me. Regulus. Now that's what I call camaraderie. Now run. Lets out a loud roar that scares the trio so much that they run into everything. Watching from the sky flying with their wings were Issei, Saji and Serena, who was being carried by Issei, who after witnessing what they wanted landed in a kind of improvised camp. Saji. It seems that food will be ready. Are you sure you can just let them eat fruits? Issei. They must learn. Greg. I translate, he wants them to suffer the same thing he suffered with Tannen. Serena. Poor Sammy, although he'll need a lesson, since that habit of stealing Kunu's panties and me stopping their fights has me fed up. Maybe he'll sell him to Serafal, taking a bite of an apple he had at hand. Issei. Don't be so mean to him, maybe if you do, he'll bring you nephews very soon. Sees how Serena chokes in surprise. Ah, wait, I'll help you now. While the couple was doing their thing, Saji was thinking until he decided to let go of his doubt. Saji. Hey guys, getting the attention of both of them since Serena had spit out the piece she choked on. Okay, now they look at me normally and not with the desire to beat me up. What's the best way to express your feelings to someone? Both of them, upon hearing the question, thought for a moment and after a few seconds they said in unison, pointing at Saji. Both. You like me. Saji. How did they know? Serena. Drake told us the gossip. Greg. Vrita already told me. Saji. Vrita. Vrita. Sorry mate, but since we don't have that many topics to talk about, I'll bring that up. Serena. Since when are legendary beasts gossipy old women? Well Saji, as a friend of mine for a long time, even from our past lives, I can tell you that, although she is not good at these matters of love, it is certain that she likes you, and that she is quite transparent when it comes to this. If you declare yourself she will surely accept, just wait for the best moment. Saji. Really? Serena. Yes, but remember. Mina. Don't use love letters because it gives her the creeps, but if you want to see her reaction it's pretty funny. Arriving at the conversation were Mina, Kiba and Artemis, who were obviously there to accompany them in training, but they heard the conversation. Kiba. You have all our support Saji. It's good that a chance is given with someone smiles relieved for his friend. Artemis. Anything Kiba and I invite you to our Sunday meetings. Saji. Thanks guys, meetings on Sundays. Kiba. Yes, where we meet to rest from. Mina dodges the light shield. Artemis. Jumps on Kiba's head avoiding a chain. Mina. Recovering the shield and leaving its chain visible. You better run or I will begin to punish you in the name of love. Kiba. Run, partner. Artemis. Don't tell me twice. And they both ran away, chased by an enraged Mina, which made everyone laugh. Saji. Well, I'll take your advice, I'll just find the best time. Without realizing it, they were observed by a dark figure which disappeared when it realized that the lion and the boys who returned on top of the lion since it hit them very hard when it reached them had returned. School. That day they both had it clear. They would declare their love to each other, although with some sadness they thought about how to do it throughout the day. When evening fell, Saji found himself in the student council room just doing his job as he decided to let the members who accepted rest. Saji. And with this I think I'm done with some things, now I have to take care of the nonsense that Kiba caused in the kendo club. He sighs a little tired until he realizes that it was Ami coming through the door. He blushes when he remembers what he had to do. Hello Ami, what are you doing here? Ami. Well same blush, you told me to leave first, but I wanted to help you so we could go together. Saji. Sure, thank you very much. It's not the most romantic thing to declare yourself in a schoolroom, but it's now or never. Ami. Mina called me saying do it in an amusement park, and from the way she was talking I don't know if she meant to declare my love or no. Don't think about those things. The two of them did most of the council work, and at one point they took a break to look out the window overlooking the schoolyard, where many students were still doing their club activities. The sunset gave a beautiful touch to the view they had. Saji. Hey friend. Me? Saji. I want to be honest with you, since we met you have taken care of me and helped me a lot. I still haven't been able to compensate you for everything you have done for me. Ami. Don't worry, there's no problem, I'm glad to help you since you're a great friend. Saji. But I don't want to be just a great friend. He sees the surprise in Ami's expression. You see Ami. Saji you. Saji. It. Ami. Down. Suddenly Amy threw herself at him, throwing them both to the ground, and a second later something large broke the windows and continued straight through the door they entered. Amy. This is it. Saji. It's one of Sona's water snakes. They both moved away a little and looked out the window. There was Sona Sitri with another water snake, and they could see several students running in terror hiding because of the sudden event. Saji. Damn, it's an attack. Amy. She was surely sent by Kurai. There are still people in the school. We have to defeat her or take the fight somewhere else. Looks at Saji with a certain trembling in his hands, so he decides to take them. I know you don't like the idea of hitting the image of your mistress and former love, but you must remember that that is not her. Saji. Amy. He just wants to manipulate you. Kurai does this so that you don't bring out your full potential, and because of how difficult it is, I will fight in your place for the stellar power of Mercury, transformation. After taking out her transformation scepter, she became Sailor Mercury and, determined, jumped out the window to confront Sona. Sailor Mercury. I will not allow you to harm the people of this school, and above all I will never forgive you for hurting Saji's feelings with the appearance you use. I will punish you in the name of Mercury. Snaps his fingers, and the giant ice lady appears. You will fight with me, Aquatic Rhapsody of Mercury. Sailor Mercury started the fight attacking, while Sona with stakes in her hands, dodged her opponent's attacks, while both aquatic snakes fought against the ice lady who took care of each one with her 6 pairs of arms. Meanwhile Saji remained thoughtful. Rita. Partner, she is fighting so it is time for you to let go of that love and respect you had for the Sitri girl and fight. Saji. You're right Rita, I must not only fight to protect this world, but also protect the person I love and who gives a new meaning to my life. Rita. Now let's fight together, comrades. Saji. Go ahead Rita. Dark snakes begin to appear and completely envelop Saji. It's time to join the battle. Rita. Rita. Malleable Rita promotion. The snakes turned into a jet black armor that completely covered the blonde's body. He quickly jumped out of the window and threw a punch at Sona, sending her crashing to the ground. Saji. Stands next to Sailor Mercury. I will not hesitate any longer, I will fight by your side Sailor Mercury. Sailor Mercury. Saji, excellent, because we will have to defeat this person. Sona stood up with some effort and began to emanate more purple energy, and her eyes turned completely red. The same thing happened with the snakes, causing the ice lady to have more complications. But it was clear that the Sailor of Wisdom and the Prison Dragon would take care of this problem. Chapter 20 Overcoming a Beautiful Love. School. Arriving at the site were the members of DXD and the Sailor Guardians, who as soon as they arrived, could see the giant snakes fighting against the ice lady, having quite an advantage over her. Ollie. It seems that the situation is under control. Sailor Uranus. If this seems controlled to you, then we better go. Asper. I don't see any trace of Saji and Sailor Mercury, and they were supposed to be fighting here. Sailor Moon. Whatever it is, there are people like that, we have to get them all out of this battlefield first. Ray. I will help the ice lady making her scale mail appear. Ines Moon. I'll give him a hand too. Surziches. Then let's go. Puts a bag on his head. It's a shame I don't have a scale mail like Issei, Vali, Ray and Serena's little brother, so I look like Gasper. Let's go. All. Yes. Everyone went to the place to help the people who were still there to get out of the place. Kiba, Gasper, Sererg, Surziches and Milikas had a bag on their heads so that their identities would not be seen. While in the schoolyard fighting were Saji and Sailor Mercury against Sona, who was tied by several black lines. Saji. I've got her trapped. Sailor Mercury. Okay, Mercury's water glow throws his attack which completely freezes Sona. Ready. The ice layer cracked a few moments later and after that, Sona jumped quite high and then hissed. This caused one of the snakes to leave the ice lady and swallow Sona and begin an escape. Sailor Mercury. He's escaping. Saji. Not with me present, go for it. Sailor Mercury. Ice lady, take us. The aforementioned snake, upon hearing its owner's scream, grabbed the other snake by the head and began to freeze it until it was turned into an ice statue. After that, it grabbed Saji and his owner and then began to run towards the other snake that was escaping. The group that stayed behind could observe this chase. Surziches. Someone will have to follow them to avoid the destruction. Serafal. I'll do it. Points to Kunu and Sammy. And you're coming with me. Kunu. I've improved a lot so I'll try to fool people with illusions, turning into a little 9-tailed fox and riding on Sammy's shoulder. Sammy. I'd rather not go with them. Exactly. Okay, let's go. The trio followed closely behind in pursuit while the rest stayed behind to clean up the mess, destroying the other ice snake and calming the people around. City. The city was in quite a bit of confusion as there was a large area that was banned by the police. This was because Kunu caused those illusions with her powers, as she actually prevented people from entering the street where the ice lady's fight with a huge snake was taking place, which she narrowly managed to grab. Saji. We have to destroy that snake without destroying anything. Sailor Mercury. You heard me, Ice Lady, freeze that creature. Listening to her owner, the Ice Lady stomped on the ground, causing a huge line of ice that trapped the snake and began to freeze it. Saji. Now let's get it out of there, causing a bunch of black lines to appear from his back, which begin to dig into the snake's body. Come on, cursed flames. These lines began to catch fire in black flames, and with this the enormous snake began to be enveloped in those black flames. This made the Ice Lady take a couple of steps back, avoiding the enormous amount of fire that had been generated. Sailor Mercury. See something coming out of the black flames. There it came out, Mercury's aquatic rhapsody. The attack managed to hit the thing that came out, knocking it against the ground and leaving it frozen there, and it could now be seen that it was Sona. They both got off the Ice Lady and landed next to their prisoner. Saji. This time you won't escape, making the lines wrap around the parts that weren't frozen. Ready, now it's time to finish her off. Sailor Mercury. You don't have to do it. Saji steps forward. I'll take care of this. Seraphol. You already had a lot of work arriving with Sammy and Kunu. I'll take care of it from here. You can go rest. After all, she's not the real one, so I can take care of it. Saji. Okay, he lets go of her, leaving her on the ground. Let's go home. Sailor Mercury. Sailor Mercury. Whatever you say, we should rest. Takes her hand, especially after all this, smiling warmly at her. Saji. Turns red even though it's not noticeable thanks to the armor. Thank you very much, really. After that they both left the place, leaving the trio there. Sona. Trying to move. Seraphol. You will regret taking the appearance of my dear Sona, making a small pink scepter appear. It's time for you to be eliminated. Die. Several attacks began to tear the copy apart. The spectacle was watched with some terror by Sammy and Kunu. Kunu. W. For some reason she is a Mau. Sammy. Why yes, now I don't know if I should tell her to leave me alone. Maybe I should leave her alone. Fafnir. Better follow what the security could not, make a harem. Sammy. No thanks, these two are enough for me, and wouldn't that traumatize you? Fafnir. It's not like I'm Drager Albion and my reputation dropped long before, so there's no problem. Sammy. I'm seriously worried about you. Fafnir. Well, I'll try to unfreeze the place with Fafnir's golden aura. Kunu. Yes, I will distract everyone with illusions. After that, they both set off while Seraphol took her revenge on her sister's clone. The Zuno residence. Night had fallen. Saji had to answer many calls due to what happened at school duty as student council president, and they managed to pass off the school event as a small failed attack stopped by the Sailor Guardians, while what happened in the city as a strange movement of the police, although luckily being at home everything was very calm. Saji. Yes okay, I'll sign those papers tomorrow. Bye. Good night. Hangs up and sighs. What a pain. Ami. Well, at least nobody got hurt. Saji. You're right, besides having gotten over mine. Approaches one of the windows and can see the moon in the sky. It's not a full moon yet. Ami. There are still several weeks left for that. Approaching the window she stands too close to him, which doesn't seem to bother him. You know, that's how we were before they interrupted us. Saji. I know. Oh, that's true. Hey, can I tell you what I was interrupted for? Ami. Of course, I've been eager to hear it. Maybe. Saji. Wait, I'll tell you with a surprise. So close your eyes. Ami. Is it necessary? Saji. Yes, no cheating, eh? Ami did as she said, closing her eyes. She could feel Saji leave her, and after several seconds with her eyes closed, she could feel him in front of her and heard something open. Saji. Open your eyes. Ami did as requested and couldn't help but bring her hands to her mouth when she saw what was in front of her. As Saji. Perhaps you. Saji, would you like to be my girlfriend? Ami Mizuno. Declaring his feelings for Ami accompanied by a beautiful blue ring, this left the young woman quite surprised, who could only nod with emotion, and without expecting either of them they joined in a hug while giving each other a wonderful and fleeting kiss. Ami stops kissing him. Yes, I accept your feelings, that means that you also accept mine. Saji. Of course I do. Notices her face turning red. Is something wrong? Ami. Yes, do we have to do that? You know how Issei and Serena do? Saji. Ah yeah, hex damn that video of Issei and Serena. It's not necessary to do it now like that couple of urgent ones, only when you feel ready. Ami. Thank you, this is enough for now. Vrita. I would say congratulations, but what's the point if they don't mate? Saji. Vrita, shut up. Vrita. Okay, but this offends me a lot. After that they both prepared dinner together, and after eating they went to sleep in Ami's room together, thus beginning a beautiful relationship from now on. To be continued. Oh well, maybe not. Bonus. Elsewhere, lying in the same bed were Issei and Serena, who suddenly woke up. Issei. Serena, did you feel someone calling us urgently? Serena. At least I wasn't the only one, but who? Issei. I don't know, but I'll kick him when I find out. Serena. There are two of us now. Notes how the busted gear appears. What's happening, Drag? Drag. I don't want to sound like a gossipy old lady, but I heard something that will really get on your nerves. I really don't mind them doing that every night. Serena Issei. Shut up and tell. And they spent their time listening to gossip that night. Chapter 21 Love Again. A week has passed, and Ami and Saji's relationship caused a bit of surprise in everyone, although a little more in the DXD members, but they congratulated them quite excitedly and more when Mina spread the gossip throughout the school. Although that made a couple of people reflect on the subject of love. Outer residence. Dawn broke in a house located in a huge forest. In one of the rooms a woman woke up due to the sun's rays. Setsuna. Why yawning? Good morning. After getting up, she did her routine, brushed her hair, got dressed, and got ready to go down to the living room, although before leaving her room, she noticed a Sailor V stuffed animal that she had on her bed. Setsuna. When did I start sleeping with that stuffed animal? Ah, now I remember, it was that day. Flashback. After having investigated a little the components with which they made the clone of Sona, since Erafel held back leaving nothing but an arm, they were able to realize that they were well-made clones, although at this moment she decided to rest and happened to be passing by the arcade where Surzich's works. Setsuna. I haven't visited here, come on, why not? Upon entering he could see the usual, one or another student playing on one of the machines, although he could notice that playing on a Sailor V machine was Milika's, accompanied by Rini and Ray. Rini? They're going to kill you. Ray. Jump, jump. Milika's. But if they yell at me I'll end up losing. Realizes that he lost, so he gets up and kicks the machine shit. Surzich's. Hey Milika's, don't kick the machine, coming with them, and don't shout that it's not just you in the store. The three. Sorry Mr. Surzich's dad. Surzich's. Size, how about you try the claw machine? Points at them, and the three of them quickly go to it since they were attracted by the prizes. Haha, young ones. Setsuna. You talk like you're thousands of years old. Coming up to him. Surzich's. If you only knew. Is that you, Setsuna, hanging out? Setsuna. These things are not my thing, but remembering that you work here I came to keep you company. Surzich's. I would really like your company since Andrew left me alone today as he had to receive his girlfriend and they had plans. Setsuna. I see, but well, you're lucky there aren't that many people. Surzich's. Yes, you're right. How do I continue the conversation? Milika's. Yay, we got something we like. Rini. That was a piece of cake. Ray. Well, now we will go to train. Rini. Milika's. Yes. Both adults turned to see that the boys had taken some stuffed animals from the machine and quickly headed for the door to leave with their loot. Surzich's. Hey guys, be careful. Milika's. Bye dad, I'll be visiting places with Rini and Ray. Rini. If you see Serena, tell her I'll eat on the street. Ray. And don't erase the program we recorded. Setsuna. Be careful. After leaving, both adults simply sighed, saying youth at the same time, although Surzich's realized that they had left behind a stuffed animal, so he approached and returned to Setsuna. Surzich's. Well, it seems they have left. Setsuna. You can say that again. What will they do with so many stuffed animals? Surzich's. Should I take advantage? Setsuna 10 is a gift for you, showing him the Sailor V plush. Setsuna. For me? A little surprised by the detail. Why? Surzich's. It's not much, but it's a way to show my gratitude and affection. Those young people gave me a good gift without realizing it. Setsuna. Honey, I mean love. Turns a little red because of the ideas in her head. Thanks. Surzich's takes the doll with some nervousness. Surzich's. Haha, you're welcome Setsuna, I promise I'll pay you in another way, and it will be in a more succulent way. Setsuna. Succulent. Does she mean that kind of succulent things? Begins to remember the video of Issei and Serena, which is why she turns much redder than before. Okay, see you at home. Runs away and almost trips when leaving the door. Surzich's. Yes, succulent, good Grimory style burgers, nothing beats them. Setsuna. Realizes she left. Wow, and I wanted to invite her to something after she left. Anyway, hey, don't hit the machine. End of flashback. Setsuna. Sighs, she looked like a teenager for a moment. I think I like her, definitely. While she was thinking that, in the courtyard was the ex-Mayu with crimson hair who was dodging a saber blow from his opponent. Surzich's. Your skill is quite good, it reminds me of one of my peerage members who was an expert swordsman. Sailor Uranus. Being compared to someone you trust flatters me quite a bit. Showing the Durandal sword. It was complicated, but I got used to its weight and power, although it is difficult for me to contain it. Surzich's. Haha, don't worry, don't think that its previous wielders didn't have it so easy to use it either. I better not tell him that he's not at the level of Zenobia or Vasco Estrada yet. Well, a little more and he'll catch up soon. Well, continue training with Gasper. Both turned to see their spectators. There were Hateru and Michiru who had tied up Gasper, who had feminine clothes to Hateru's annoyance. Surziches. Well Gasper, your opponent will be Sailor Uranus, good luck. Gasper. Why is that Mr. Surziches? It's clear that she wants to kill me. Sailor Uranus. Come on Gasper, I don't bite, but I do stab. Gasper. Why save me Hateru. Hateru. Less talk and more action starts dragging Gasper to where the other two were. Be a man. Gasper. I'm a man, but I don't want to die. Why are my worst experiences with Durandal bearers? Then, after a long time convincing Gasper to fight Sailor Uranus, and by convincing, we mean that Hateru beat him until he reluctantly agreed. At this moment Sailor Uranus cut into the beasts that Gasper Baylor made appear, while the other three watched the training. Surziches. Hey you two, getting Michiru and Hateru's attention. I'd like to ask you something related to Setsuna. Michiru. Sure, what do you want to know about her? Surziches. Has she been in a relationship? Hateru. Not that we know of. Why? Maybe he's afraid she has a boyfriend hiding out there and that will leave him heartbroken. Surziches. Do I seem that obvious? Michiru. The gift you gave her a while ago, the time you spend with her, even if it's to investigate things. When you go out sometimes you do it with her or with her and your son, as if they were a family. I don't know, I would say it's very obvious. Surziches. Yeah, well, we're adults so it's obviously more noticeable. Do you think you have a chance? Michiru. Handsome, intelligent, top 10 strongest existences in your world, good father, I would also give you a chance. Sailor Uranus. Listen to that, cutting one of the monsters in two. Hateru. Of course you're a good match, and maybe he'll like you too, but the question is, are you ready for another relationship? Surziches became uncomfortable talking about the subject. It was true that he was married and loved his wife very much, but he knows that both he and Milikas must continue, and perhaps dare to get a partner. Surziches. I have been a happily married man next to my wife, although sometimes he seemed more like a younger brother than a husband, but when it came to my family he was always first before even my position as a Mao. Michiru. At least I don't think she died with regrets. Surziches. Of course not, besides, she died protecting our son, so surely from wherever she is, she must be hoping that we don't get sad when remembering her, but do so with a smile. Hateru. Think positive Mr. Surziches, although I also have to ask, since when do you like Setsuna? Surziches. Well, I think it was since we started doing things together. Sailor Uranus. They were even looking for Milikas together, they only need the ring, he said, while he had Gasper subdued. Gasper. Why yes, she's right, Mr. Surziches, cheer up, we support you, help. Surziches. You're right, I think I'll prepare everything to give myself a second chance. In addition to saying the things I started to feel for Setsuna, I'm leaving. Good luck Gasper, now you'll fight with the three. After that Surziches retreated with an idea in mind. Gasper began to sweat coldly when he saw that Hateru and Michiru transformed and slowly approached him. Gasper. Don't you want to play a tea party? Sailor Neptune. I think we'll have a good conversation, since we've always wanted to talk to you about buying your own clothes and not wearing Hateru's. Sailor Saturn. Get ready. Gasper. Or for God's sake, if you're in heaven, I beg you please save me, Superman. From the courtyard, the screams of a vampire boy asking for help could be heard. Tsukino residence. In the room of said place was the owner playing a game of chess with Surziches. Surziches. And checkmate listens to Issei, Setsuna and Luna applauding the move. Serena. It's not fair, I don't really understand this game. Surziches. I think you would be terrible if you were a king in our Serena world, although well, one thing is pieces and another are people. Hey Issei, what do you think about making a game rating system for humans? Issei. Sir Surziches, I don't think that's a good idea. Setsuna. Not all humans are like us. Surziches. That's what you say, you know, now I have an idea, I'll bring the rating game adapted to humans, although of course without magical things or things like Phoenix Tears, basically because they don't exist anymore. Issei. If someone patents that idea, I swear to everyone that I will have 30 children. Serena. Sure, if you don't stop them. Luna. I agree with Serena, scratches Issei. Issei. Ouch, looks at the clock in the room, it's already 5, Rei and Rini should be arriving. Setsuna. And Milika's with them, although it's cute that they spend so much time together. Surziches. Surely they like her a lot as their friends. Issei. Yes, friend, and let it stay that way, because if he ever wants something with Rei, I'll stab him with Ascalon, even if he's Surziches' son. Greg. Not even born and he is already overprotecting her, these humans. Surziches. Maybe he becomes exaggeratedly overprotective like Barakwil did. He good joke eyes, but don't forget who has the power of destruction. Issei. Gulps. Why, you're right. The group stayed chatting for a while longer until suddenly Neo Sailor Moon and Ray entered through the door with her scale Melon, and from what Issei could deduce, she was in her Welsh Sonic Boss King mode. They looked a little tired, which alarmed everyone. Luna. What's happening? Ray. They took Milika's and Diana. Setsuna. What? Getting up just as worried as Surzich's. NS Moon. He was a copy of his mother, he suddenly attacked us at an ice cream stand and they took him away along with Diana who clung to him. Flashback. The trio, along with a little kitten, were at an ice cream stand eating a couple. Milika's. Nothing better than an ice cream after training. Rini. I agree with you my friend. Ray. He of course, cousin Milika's is very funny. Milika's. Cousin. Ray. Well, Mr. Surzich's still loves my dad like a member of the family, so that makes us cousins, even if it's just out of affection. Milika's. Hahaha of course, I like you too then real. Rini. Of course, rub your existence in my face, I'm still alive, thanks to I don't know what in the time that I explained myself flew well then, what if? She couldn't finish her sentence as an explosion took them by surprise, the smoke preventing them from seeing or reacting. Although they could feel a strong gust of wind that cleared the smoke, the two of them noticed that Milika's was missing. Rini. Hey, where's Milika's? Ray. Over there. The girl pointed in a direction, showing that moving away across the rooftops was the one they recognized as Milika's mother, thanks to Surzich's telling them what she was like Grafia. This made them run after her, although they couldn't do the same since there were too many people. Rini. We won't catch her like this. Ray. Wait, what about Diana? Diana. I'll take care of it clinging to Milika's leg you'll know how to find me. Both could see how the woman disappeared with the boy and the kitten, with this they quickly hid and went at full speed to the Tsukino residence. End of flashback. Surzich's. Why didn't Milika's do anything? Setsuna. Surely when she saw her kidnapper she couldn't react to having the image of her mother. Surzich's. Well, I can't ask for too much, considering that Trihexa's thing was sudden at that moment I must go rescue him. How did he talk to find him? Nana. I have the answer speaking through Ray's busted gear, since it's practically the same person, we'll be able to find her if we use my energy, of course also the traces that woman will have left when she escaped. Surzich's. Okay, Serena, Issei, I ask you to warn the others to be alert, I will go rescue my son. Serena. I understand Surzich's, but I need help. Surzich's. No, my responsibility as a father is to do it. Setsuna. Then I'll give you a hand sees how he was about to say something, but continues Milika's is also important to us, he's also very important to me, since he's a great boy, besides spending so much time with him I've ended up getting fond of him, oh he reminds me of when I raised Haru with Haruka and Michiru, so we'll go together whether you like it or not. Surzich's. Okay, thanks Setsuna. Ray. Come on then let's go right away. NS Moon. Come on, I'll go with you since Diana was also kidnapped. The group then headed out the door to quickly search for the kidnapped people, while Issei and Serena stood staring at the door. Serena. Do you think they'll do well? Issei. Yes, and it will also be good for them to finish clarifying their feelings. The couple stood there for a few moments wishing the group luck, but then quickly went to warn the others. Chapter 22 Statement after the rescue. In a depressing place, with a sky tinted between red and violet, in what seemed to be the ruins of a school, there was a boy with crimson hair lying next to a grey kitten on one of the few standing walls of the place. Milika's. Oh my head turns around where am I? Realizes that Diana is there Diana. Diana. Waking up what's happening, where are we? Milika's. This red and violet sky it can't be, we are here. Kurai. Return to your world, although in this case it would be the previous human world, more specifically in the place where the three factions made peace. Appearing in front of him was Kurai, Serena's sister who came with the head of her mother's copy. Upon seeing her, he stood up and placed Diana behind him. Milika's. How did you bring me here? Glancing at his mother's head it's not the real one, don't make the same mistake again. Kurai. The abilities of the apocalyptic beast are incredible, that's why I can move myself and my troops between both dimensions, although it's a shame not to do so with the loss of the Kalbrand sword. Milika's. Kalbrand is lost. Anyway, why did you kidnap me? You know I have the power of destruction and I'm capable of fighting you. Kurai. Don't act so brave boy, you're not close to the level of any of your peers in that world, notes that he looks a lot at the head, oh well, this one is of no use to me anymore, he begins to squeeze it until it falls to pieces, and the remains disappeared out of nowhere, it has already served its purpose, so I will do my part. Milika's. Part, will he have some plan? Don't underestimate me, I've learned some tricks putting his right fist in front, which was beginning to be enveloped by a red sphere. Kurai. Well, entertain me a little. Stops levitating and touches the ground. It doesn't matter, I won't fight with my transformation or with my enormous power. To give you some advantage, I will only fight with 5%. Milikas. Don't take me lightly. Starts running until he is close to Kurai, then throws a punch. Take this. From his fist the sphere split into small spheres with the same power as this one. Kurai, seeing this, decided to jump, avoiding said attack, and knew that he made a good decision when he saw how these spheres, when hitting the ground, left a huge crater. Kurai. Hey, not bad kid. That shot was like a shotgun falling to the ground near Milikas, who did not waste the opportunity and began to attack, so Kurai decided to dodge. If you had hit me at point blank range with nothing on top of me, you would have surely done decent damage. Milikas. Both my father and my aunt Riaz used their powers from a distance, with more power capable of tracking, so my style will be to fight head-on. Begins to make the same sphere appear, receives this shot, as if it were a shotgun, launches the attack again. Kurai. Weepa dodges the attack again and jumps until he is very far away. Not bad, I must admit. Then allow me to show you something too, although I will cheat a little by using 30% of my power in this attack. What do you think? Milikas. Huh. A small purple sphere the size of a soccer ball appeared from Kurai's hand. He released it and it slowly fell to the ground until it levitated in front of Kurai's feet. Milikas. This gives me a bad feeling, more than anything because of the tremendous power that ball emanates. Just by receiving it, I will be out of combat. Diana, hide. Diana. Oh okay, goes to hide in the rubble over there. Kurai. Do this attack, boy, much better than that shotgun of yours. Just like a soccer player, Kurai kicked the purple sphere, which, as it shot towards Milikas, split into hundreds of smaller spheres with the same amount of power. Seeing the large number approaching him, he began to dodge them, although only just, and in every place he avoided them, the spheres left a large crater. Milikas. That thing hits me and I'm fried. Takes a big leap and takes out his demon wings, but unfortunately the spheres follow him, and now it turns out that they are like Dad's attacks. Milikas was dodging the spheres by landing on the ground and or flying, and then changing the scenario again. Milika's constant dodging began to bore Kurai. Kurai. TCH, this brat is quite fast. Could the fox brat and the Fafnir carrier be as annoying too? If so, I know who to take care of, but first this one is necessary. Notes to hit and target. He does the same procedure as before. Hey boy, look how your little friend dies. Kicks the ball towards target. Diana. Help tries to move, but the ball is clearly faster. Milikas. Diana. She quickly concentrated all her power on her finger, and like a gun, she fired the enormous amount of power that collided with the sphere. Luckily for Milikas, her shot devoured Kurai's, and they exploded far away from Diana, although she realized her plan too late. Milikas. I have no strength left. Shit. She couldn't say more since from Diana's point of view, she could only see smoke as the spheres chasing him began to crash into Milikas, while screams of pain could be heard from the smoke screen. Diana. Milikas sees how the body of a wounded Milikas comes out of the smoke and crashes to the ground. She quickly goes to where he is and notices the state he is in. Oh my god, please hold on. Kurai. He levitates above Milikas, realizing that his clothes were torn, he was bleeding everywhere, and to top it off he had lost his left arm. Wow, and that's even though I didn't go all out. Haha. Milikas. I didn't end up worse off because I decided to wrap my power of destruction in my body. Even though I lost concentration and lost my arm starting to shed tears, I didn't think a real battle would be like this. Despite what I saw with Trihexa, I'm still too weak. Sorry Dad, Mom, Issei, friends, I think I'm going to die right here. Kurai. He making another sphere appear. Say goodbye to this world, Gremory boy. Milikas. Miss Itsuna, please take care of my father. Sailor Pluto. Death scream. The purple ball of energy hit an unsuspecting Kurai, sending her crashing into one of the walls of the destroyed place. Diana looked excitedly at her saviors with teary eyes. Diana. Sailor Pluto, Lord Surziches, Neo Sailor Moon and Sailor Uranus. The aforementioned quartet were running in their direction. Sailor Pluto and Surziches stood next to Milikas to check him out, clearly worried. Neo Sailor Moon hugged Diana with great enthusiasm, and Sailor Uranus stood in front of the group wielding Durandal and another sword that Diana hadn't seen. Diana. How did they find us? NS Moon. We were desperate, even with the trail they left, it was impossible for us to know how to get here. Sailor Uranus. Until I had the solution, or rather office. Flashback. Gathered at the Hikawa temple were Surziches, Sailor Pluto, Neo Sailor Moon, Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune and Office, as the others were searching the surroundings just in case. Surziches. This energy comes from a different dimension, and if we want to cross it, we require a lot of power, and Office is tired to do such an act. Sailor Pluto. If only we had something to split dimensions with. Office. Yes, we have it, drawing the group's attention. It's actually something I had saved for after we defeated Kurai, but it comes in handy now. Office went into the temple for a moment while taking out her goatee. 5 minutes later she returned with a sword that took Surzich's by surprise. Surzich's? The sword capable of splitting dimensions, Kalbrand, better known as Caliburn. Office. That's right, while I was looking for the sacred gears I also found this sword by chance from its previous bearer, the blonde boy from the Pendragons, I think his name was Arthur. Surzich's. Perfect, with this we will get to where Milik's takes the sword and gives it to Sailor Uranus, and you will use it. Sailor Uranus. Now it turns out that he's also blonde, just because she's blonde doesn't mean she's a swordswoman with her arms crossed, acting offended. Well yes I am a swordswoman, but not because I'm blonde. Sailor Neptune. Just take it. Sailor Uranus. I'm coming, takes the sword. Now give me instructions, I will open the space in two. After a long time explaining, Sailor Uranus managed to open a crack that would take them to the dimensional crack, with the help of Office, who gave them some necklaces to survive that place made by herself. Those present entered minus Office and quickly followed the trail left. End of flashback. Diana. Thank goodness, but save Milik's quickly. NS Moon. Notices the young man's condition and worries, oh my god, how is he? Sailor Pluto. He's losing a lot of blood, we must take him to Mina as soon as possible. Notices that a great energy is emanating next to him. Surzich's. Surzich's. You better get out of here. He stands up as his body begins to be enveloped in a crimson aura. I will take care of this unfortunate woman, starting to walk towards Kurai, who came out with a few scratches. Kurai. Well, the Crimson Satan that I've heard so much about, one of the 10 strongest existences in this world, I'll gladly play with you. Surzich's. You'll be damned, emanating even more of that energy that begins to disintegrate the ground. Let no one come near me, I will fight with all my power. Milik's. Better listen to him, cough cough, spitting some blood. I'm fine, so let's go. Sailor Pluto. No, we will stay and help you. Surzich's. I told you. Kurai. Opportunity. Suddenly emanating a power that no one could reach, Kurai appeared in front of Surzich's and shot him with a kind of projectile that hit him right in the leg. Surzich's. TCH, this is nothing. Notices how his strength is leaving and his crimson aura fades. What? Kurai. Very good, they take effect immediately. Sailor Pluto. Help Surzich's, who was about to collapse. Hey, are you okay? Surzich's. What did you do to me? Kurai. It's something I did using the little knowledge that stupid beast of the Trihexa didn't destroy. I'm talking about the seal that talented woman called Roswius made, or something like that. Surzich's. The seal that was made for Trihexa. Kurai. Bingo, I just modified it to make it a bullet and seal your tremendous powers of destruction. Now your power is not the same, hahaha, take it as a gift so you don't help your companion so much. He. After saying those words, Kurai disappeared, implying that his work was done. This took the group by surprise and worried, but they did nothing but leave because Milik's began to spit blood. The Kawa Temple, night. Upon arriving, they were able to heal all of Milik's external and internal wounds, but they couldn't do anything about Surzich's seal, which from what they could see now, only had 40% of its original power, including its aura of destruction. That night they decided to let Milik's sleep there, so Surzich's and Setsuna stayed and the others went home. At that moment Ray and Vali were outside training. Meanwhile, in the room where Milik's slept were Sammy, Diana and Rini, who were watching somewhat sadly their one-armed friend. Sammy. That hitch will pay for what she did to him. Rini. I say the same, all to protect Diana, and I am eternally grateful. Sammy. Tomorrow Gasper and I will cheer him up by going out together. Rini. If they take him to one of those adult things I swear I'll hit all 3 of them. Sammy. Hey, I'm technically your uncle. Rini. I don't respect Serena, who is my mother, and you think I'm going to respect you? Sammy. Daughter of. Diana. Please don't start now. Before they could start arguing, Milik's woke up, calming the 3 of them down. Milik's. I'm awake, notices that he doesn't have an arm. Well, on the one hand I look tough. Sammy. What does one have to say in these situations? Cheer up my friend, at least you survived that fight. Milik's. Yes, I think you're right, suddenly hugged by Rini. Hey. Rini. This is a way to thank you for saving Diana. It's not much, but it's what I have. Gives her a kiss on the cheek and separates, then I'll pay you with a meal or something. Diana. I really appreciate it too, gets on her head. I will be eternally grateful to you. Milik's. Thanks, somewhat blushing. Sammy. Don't get depressed, besides I think this was good for your father and Miss Setsuna to take a step. Milik's. Really? I have to see them. Rini. Let's be careful then. Rini and Sammy helped Milik's to his feet and went silently to the entrance of the temple. Diana was still in his head. They found Surzich's and Setsuna looking at the stars in the sky. Surzich's. Hey Setsuna, do you think I'm a failure as a father? Setsuna. Don't say that, this is not your fault or anyone else's, only the fault of those who did this evil. I wonder what reaction Queen Serenity would have when she saw what her daughter became. Surziches. Even so size now I will no longer be useful to you. Setsuna. Don't say those things. Places a hand on his shoulder. Kurai sealed your power, but not your will, that will be enough for you to help us in future battles, also you must not fall because you must stay strong. Surziches. Yes, I must stay strong or Milikas might get sad too. Setsuna. And so will I if you get like that, although I will do everything possible to cheer you up and help you in any way possible. Surziches. Setsuna I say the same thing. Is this a good time? Hey, you know, I was planning to give you a gift, but because of this I didn't have time. Setsuna. Really? Let me guess, I have to close my eyes. Surziches. If it's not too much trouble. She did as requested while the former mouse slowly approached her face and gave her a surprise kiss. The minors saw this happily and with their thumbs up, while the now formed couple continued with said kiss for a few more seconds until they separated. Surziches. Setsuna, will you marry me? Setsuna. I think my answer is obvious, right? After saying those words, they both hugged each other quite happily and excitedly, although with some discretion they entered the temple again, while the young people made some noise celebrating the new couple. Sammy. Congratulations Milikas, you're now engaged. Rini. I say the same thing, we have to celebrate this. Diana. Let's eat fish. Milikas. Hahaha, they are right, we have to celebrate now. We have a new member in the Gremory family. Wherever you are mom, you can stay calm. Well, how about we go for some ramen? Surziches. Setsuna. With what, spying on adults? The group, upon hearing the voices behind them, made a quick decision. Sammy and Rini carried Milikas and ran away from the couple with Diana as they began to chase them, very angry for having been spied on. Surziches. Should we give him his first punishment? Setsuna. Of course. Milikas. Hey no, help. After locking the young people in a room as punishment, the couple ended up spending a romantic night in one of the temple's rooms while being illuminated by the radiant moon which was almost full. Chapter 23 Determined to Love. The new couple was received with many congratulations, although of course Surziches received some advice, threats from Outer and Rini to have a good relationship with Setsuna, and Milikas was very grateful to Setsuna. Although the beginning of this relationship made two people make a decision who will turn to the new couple formed. The Kawa Temple. At the entrance of the temple were Lita and Ray, somewhat confused to see how the person they called was. Ray. We called you to ask for some advice, but. Lita. What happened to you, Setsuna? The aforementioned was sitting in a wheelchair which was pushed by Rini and Milikas, as well as carrying Diana, who was asleep, on her legs. Ray. The last time I saw you was 4 days ago and I find you in a wheelchair. Setsuna. Let's say that even though her power was sealed, she can still use it in other ways. A little read at what she said. Milikas. In other words, Dad wasn't careful and almost broke her in two. Hahaha, that day, we were really scared by the scream she let out get stepped on by Rini. Ouch. Rini. Well, what do you need, girls? Lita. Oh, that's true, you'll see. They arrived at the temple room and their both girls told their concerns to the older one who remained thoughtful. Ray. Any advice? Setsuna. Well, each person is different and in the way of expressing feelings we are also different, although in the case of Vali and Sarerg, it is clear that they are people who will only understand things in one way. Both? Which? Setsuna. The fights, and I know this thanks to Milikas. Milikas. Yes, Vali and Sarerg were fighters and the best known in the DXD anti-terrorism group. It is also often said that they are fighting maniacs. Lita. They seem so relaxed. Milikas. You haven't seen them in a fight. Ray. Do we fight with them to declare our love? Rini. Or fight together? I say it's not a bad idea. Lita. I don't think it will be of much use to us, but we appreciate your words. Setsuna. They're training tomorrow, aren't they? Why aren't they going to declare their love for them at that time? Ray. We would, but Sammy will also be there since he is the pupil of those two and of Saji and Issei too. Rini. I'll take care of that, rubbing her hands with an evil smile. Serafo owes me money for a bet we made a few days ago, so it's time for her to collect it with a favor that benefits her too. Setsuna. Little lady, sometimes you scare me, smiling a little awkwardly. Rini. You guys stay calm and I'll be nervous. I'll take care of the obstacle. Both. Gee, thanks Rini, same as Serena. After that talk the girls said goodbye to the trio and began to make their plans on how to express their feelings to those two. Mountain. On a mountain somewhat far from the city there were 3 people, these being Vali, Saderg and Cao Cao, the latter having a small hand-to-hand combat while being observed by Vali, who could only think the things were quite even. Vali. What do you think of Albion? Albion. There's a reason he's one of the strongest humans that existed in our world, that's why you shouldn't neglect your training because they can surpass you. Ollie. Heh, over my dead body, since no one will be able to surpass me. Albion. Yes I know mate. Ow cow. You have improved a lot since our last confrontation, giving several stabs with his spear that are avoided by the demon. Sererg. Our confrontation made it clear to me that even a human can surpass me, and you have also improved your speed counterattacks by giving several punches that Cao Cao avoids with great agility. They both found the best moment to attack and did so, but they stopped just inches away from hitting the other and jumped back making space. Sererg. I think that's all for today. Cao Cao. I think the same, besides you have something important to do. Ollie. What do you mean? Approaching the only thing that matters to me is the fights. Cao Cao. And the priestess. Seeing how the white-haired boy's cheeks blush you even turned red, this is something that is not seen every day. Sererg. Hahaha they caught you volley, although I don't blame you, since Ray is a girl with several qualities besides being beautiful. Ollie. Shut up, you guys also get really red when you see certain people. Cao Cao. But at least I admitted, I love that person, but they don't know who he is. Sererg. She was a friend of Serena, wasn't she? Anyway, you're right, although I don't know if Lita is one of those girls who gets excited when someone confesses their love to her. Cao Cao. But you are worse than Hayato Issei when it comes to love size. Well, it would be better if you thought about it. Thanks to the fact that Hayato Issei and Serena had a relationship, it caused everyone to have the courage to do the same. Why don't you follow those examples? Anyway, see you later. Cao Cao ran away from there to get to Tokyo, while both demons did something that was rare to see them do, sit under a tree to talk peacefully. Sererg. What do you think about this? Ollie. I say it's a little funny that the descendants of Baal and Lucifer have love problems. Sererg. And let's say we haven't been in love either. Ollie. Huh, you didn't like your queen. Sererg. Hahaha everyone thought we had something, but we were nothing more than great friends and you didn't have that girl, the previous bearer of the Ice Lady, right? Ollie. She was just like a sister so don't confuse things. Sererg. So this is our first time with this lol should we ask Hayato? Ollie. I don't want to bother you with these issues, so we'll solve it ourselves, since this love thing is quite complicated for me. Sererg. What if we ask Serziches? Ollie. Maybe, I mean he had relationships before any of us, so he is more expert in matters of love than us. Sererg. Well, it's decided, we'll go to Serziches to find out how to declare our love. Ollie. If you want to shout it where will Sammy be? If not, we will leave early since I don't feel like fighting with you. Sererg. What if I grab it Serafal? Ollie. Lately that Mayu wants to eat that boy in every possible way, it is clear that having dragon powers attracts girls. Sererg. What can I say? Armor seems to attract girls, since the princess of the Yokai also wants to have something with our student. Ollie. I think Issei cast his curse on him. Sererg. Hahaha I agree with you, then let's go, because if that's the case it's a lost cause. Ollie. I take the opportunity to talk to Ray and maybe buy her the flowers that she likes, those with the name of a black and white movie. They both left the place at full speed, although not far from there they were both observed by two female shadows who began to follow them without them realizing it. The Kawa Temple. At the entrance of the temple were Ray and Lita again, this time asking for advice from Serena, although they were also accompanied by Regulus in his lion form and Jin, both asleep on either side of Lita, who was caressing their heads. Serena. Well, tell yourselves, it's not that complicated. Ray, says the one who created a drama give us something better than that Serena. Serena. Oh well, don't despair. I would say take it easy and wait patiently. They may be idiots, but they are not stubborn. Lita. Well, you're right, although we're thinking about whether we should be the ones to take the first step. Serafal. We have an emergency. The three of them turned around to find Kunu and Serafal in their magical girl outfits, carrying a badly injured Sammy on their backs, with part of the golden armor destroyed, which worried the three of them, and this woke up the lion. Serena. What happened? Kunu. They attacked us and took Sererg and Vali. Regulus. How? Gets up even more worried tell me what happened. Sammy. You'll see. Flashback. Sitting on a park bench were Sammy, Serafal and Kunu, although in a situation where there would be a fight at any moment. Serafal. Come on say trying to feed Sammy some flan with a spoon. Sammy. I have training now, if I don't go Master Vali will get angry somewhat nervous. Serafal. Oh come on, don't say that, not everyone has the opportunity to spend time with an ex-Mayu as pretty as me hugs the boy and he leans on her chest besides, it's not bad to spend time with someone with whom I will share my life one day. Sammy. Yupa choking. If the sky looks like this then take me, I'll come to you St. Peter. Who knew? Kicks Sammy in the intimate areas, causing him to release Serafal and throw himself to the floor to rub his parts. Stop showing affection like that, you milk cow. Serafal. Cash cow. Let's get one thing straight, you don't have any say when it comes to Princess ironing board breasts. Who knew? You will be one. The two began to argue there while Sammy simply cursed her luck until she realized that in the distance were Sererg and Vali with a couple of flowers each. Sammy. So they didn't wait for me, well at least my ball pain won't get worse. Notices that two women with hoods stand in front of them both and they are in shock. What's going on? Notices how the four of them go to a place so he gets up and decides to follow them. This is suspicious, it's more important than my ball pain. The boy, using what he had learned, followed them in silence. After walking a long way, they arrived at an abandoned factory and could see how his two teachers were very serious in front of the women. Sammy. I think I can hear a little well hidden. Sererg. Okay, do you want to fight here? Shakes head and points to a different spot out the window. Ali. So to the mountains, well, we won't be so lenient because they have the faces of our mothers. Sammy. Their mothers. Hafner. Mate, don't let them go. Sammy. Hafner. It may not seem like it, but they couldn't dare to fight with their mothers. I know because I know the story of the Bale boy, and Albion told me a little about his partner's past in the meetings that we have started to have more often now. Sammy. What? Then we must stop them. The four of them left the site after pointing out the location of the fight. Sammy tried to follow them, but had to move to the side to avoid a black sphere that left a small hole in the ground. Sammy. What was that? Turns around finding the only girl who looks identically like her sister Kurai. Kurai. How are you little brother? Even if you treat me badly, I will treat you well. Sammy. Don't talk nonsense, let's go Fafner. Fafner. Down full dragon spear. Balance breaker. The armor completely covered the boy and he wrapped his fists in Fafner's golden aura and then threw himself at Kurai to throw punches, who dodged them as if it were nothing. Sammy. This is also for what you did to Milikas. Throws a punch, but it is quickly dodged by Kurai who stands behind him. Kurai. And that coldness, not even a hug. Gives him a hug from behind. Then I will give it to you with much love. Kurai made a huge jump, taking Sammy with him, so much so that they broke the ceiling and continued to rise until they reached the sky. Sammy. I have to let go. He tries, but his grip is too strong. He's stronger than he looks. Kurai. Be careful not to break your neck, little brother, this fall will be devastating. As they went up they began their fall at full speed, spinning headlong like a tornado. The power was so great that they began to be enveloped in fire, and before hitting the ground Kurai let go of Sammy so she could move away and levitate to avoid crashing next to him. She went through the roof again, and the crash was so powerful that the factory fell to pieces due to the tremor it generated, which stopped a few seconds later. Kurai. Wow, I think I went too far with my love. Levitates until he is on top of the page. Just in case makes a black sphere appear and throws it towards the remains of the factory, but this sphere is deflected by a blue fire and a blue magic circle towards the sky. What? Serafal. You will be a disgrace. Appearing next to Kunu, who was transformed into a nine-tailed fox, much larger than before. Face someone your size. Kunu. You hurt Sammy, I won't forgive you. Making blue fires appear from her tails. Kurai. It's not like you were Yusaka to scare me, little girl. Oh, well, I just came in case there was any trouble, and I already took care of it. Bye. Disappears. Both of them felt very upset about this, but they quickly went to look for Sammy, removing the rubble. In the end they found him quite badly injured and his armor in pieces. Serafal. Quickly and carefully carries him on her back. We will have to go quickly to heal him. Sammy. I'm fine. Coughs a little. We have to tell the others. Master Vali and Sererg are in a hurry. Kunu. Are you serious? Then we have to hurry. Quickly. Serafal climbs on my back and I'll carry you running. Serafal. Okay, partner gets on with Sammy. Kunu. Don't tell me that. After that they started the race towards the Hikawa temple. End of flashback. As soon as they finished telling what happened, Ray and Lita proceeded to transform and Regulus went into his gigantic golden lion form. Sailor Mars. We are ahead of you. Sailor Jupiter. Calm your flame. To everyone. Serena. Okay, be careful. Regulus. Here we go Sir Sererg. Jin. Wow. The two girls climbed on top of the lion and he and the dog began to run towards the place that Sammy had told them where they were, while the others stayed behind to call the rest. Chapter 24. The beginning of two relationships. Mountains. The place seemed very quiet except for the fact that Sererg was flying through the air and violently crashed into the ground, destroying several trees around him. Sererg. TCH, this is worse than I thought. Ollie. We're both having a hard time. Fighting in the air against Volley was the figure of Azazel, who was trying to stab the white-haired man with a spear of light, while appearing in front of Sererg was the figure of his younger brother Magdarin. Sererg. Uff gets up quite sore and gets into a combat position. I thought that when we arrived we would face our mothers, but this is easier. Like this. Throws a punch that goes to his brother's face. Just before he hit his brother, he moved even faster than Sererg and proceeded to give him an even more powerful punch, which sent the black-haired man crashing into several trees behind him. Sererg. Shit gets up very sore. Ollie. TCH, this is a pain, let's get serious. Albion. Vanishing dragon, balance breaker. Volley proceeded to put on his white armor and approached to give a shower of punches to Azazel, who began to retreat due to the powerful blows of his opponent. Ollie. I won't make that mistake again, get out of my sight. Albion. Half dimension. Just as Azazel began to shrink, several spears of light came out of nowhere, hitting an unsuspecting Volley from all sides, who was about to fall to the ground if he hadn't regained his balance in the air. Ollie. Who's there? It made some holes in my armor, although this pain is nothing compared to the multiple battles I've had so far. Azazel. Take something out of his suit, which leaves Volley very surprised. Ollie. And no way, that's the downfall dragon spear. Sererg. What? Takes advantage of the fact that the scream caught his opponent's attention and heads towards him with a powerful punch with all his might. My chance. Just when he was about to hit him, he feels something stand in front of Magdarin, who stopped his powerful punch, and when he saw what it was he was very surprised. Impossible. It's the Nemean Regulus in its battle axe form. Volley could see Azazel with said dagger and several mini golden armors as his wyvern, while Sererg watched his brother grab the axe as if it weighed nothing. This surprise made both of them stand back to back. Ollie. It seems the Kurai was able to get a duplicate of these sacred gears. I don't know if this would bother or excite old Azazel. Sererg. Maybe they are not as good as the originals, but we must try. Azazel was covered by the golden scale mail, while Magdarin was wrapped in the balance breaker, Regulus King Leather Rex, only it was between purple and black, both prepared to resume the confrontation when suddenly. Sailor Jupiter. Jupiter Oakleaf attack. Sailor Mars. A courier Tayson. From the shadow of Magdarin several dark leaves attacked him from behind, and then he was suddenly tackled by a gigantic golden lion, sending him flying quite far away, while Azazel's wyverns were touched by a paper and then burned by a purple fire, and this, when observed by Azazel, began to move away, avoiding the rain of talismans that were going towards him. Both young people turned around, noticing their saviors being the sailors of fire and lightning. Sererg. Jupiter, Mars, how did they find us? Sailor Jupiter. Sammy followed them, we came to their aid even though they weren't fighting with their mothers. Ollie. Long story, now our opponent is more complicated than it seems. Regulus. Mr. Sererg happily approaches his owner. I'm sorry I wasn't with you, but now allow me to fight by your side. Sererg. Yes my friend, girls, thanks for coming, but we'll take care of it. Ollie. We don't want problems and for them to get hurt. Sailor Mars. If you think we'll get hurt, well, let me tell you that we won't leave. Sailor Jupiter. What Mars said, we won't leave, especially if we know they're in danger, since after all we're friends, right? Sererg. Hey, it's okay, you know sometimes they remind us of Issei Hayato. Volley. Yes, but just a little bit. Sailor Jupiter Mars. I hope they don't say they like it or anything. Sererg. Okay, so can you fight them while we do something to beat them? Sailor Jupiter. Take it for granted, let's show that we have learned Jin. Jin. Grrrrrrrr. Sailor Mars. Leave it all to us. After saying that, Sailor Mars took a big leap and then began to throw several talismans towards Azazel, who dodged them, while Lita and Jin successively attacked Magdarin, who could not react due to the great speed of both. Meanwhile Volley and Sererg looked at each other for a few moments. Sererg. Should we? Ollie. I don't think so, but it's better not to risk it. I, who am about to awaken, am the White Dragon Emperor who will bring law to the darkness. Sererg. My Lion King of Nemea, you, who have been called King of Lions, respond to my howl and become my armor. Both began to recite a song. Meanwhile Sailor Jupiter stopped the constant attack on Magdarin and jumped back with Jin, which greatly disconcerted her adversary. Sailor Jupiter. Okay, it's time to try out what I've learned thanks to the boys. Ready Jin. Jin. Waft gets closer until he is stuck to Sailor Jupiter. Sailor Jupiter. Alright, let's go. Takes a deep breath. Behelis, the slaughter of 1,000 mortals better, the murder of 10,000 goblins. My name, which is immersed in the deepest darkness, is the god of imitation that crosses the polar night. Oh you perished by my own black sword. Art of fools, deformed creator gods. Suddenly the shadows of the place began to envelop Sailor Jupiter next to Jin, and after a few minutes the shadows separated, leaving in their place a kind of black humanoid wolf with a female form of 6 tails, in addition to next to it, a huge more fearsome hound. Magdarin notices how suddenly the place where they were fighting becomes a dark field, which surprises him a lot. Sailor Jupiter. This is amazing, I feel much more powerful than before, and I also want to finish you off, Thunder of Jupiter, resound. Humming out of his head, a small antenna began to attract several green rays that began to not only envelop the antenna, but also Sailor Jupiter's entire body. Seeing this, Magdarin threw himself into an attack, but was stopped by the huge dog who was hitting so fast that he could barely react to it. Jin. Takes a bite out of the leg, managing to completely destroy the part that the armor protected, thus damaging his opponent's foot. Waff jumps back. Magdarin. Trying to stay standing until he realizes someone appears in front of him. Sererg. Let me join the party, showing himself with his armor on. Now I will destroy that junk. Sererg delivers a huge amount of blows that Magdarin cannot avoid, leaving his armor in pieces, then he realized that Sererg had moved away to realize too late why. Sailor Jupiter. Die, you piece of shit. Several swords began to emerge from the darkness, and along with the enormous green ray that was thrown, all those attacks repeatedly and constantly hit the opponent's body. Meanwhile, outside the black mass that from Sailor Mars' point of view, was as if an area was enveloped by night. Sailor Mars. Lita's longiness is scary, it's good to have her as an ally. Hey Azazel, calling the attention of her opponent, who also saw the dark area. We can continue, if you want. Avoids a spear of light thrown by him, I'll take that as a yes, then prepare to be burned, flaming arrow of Mars. His usual red fire combined with a purple one, and with this he shot towards Azazel, who avoided said attacks. Sailor Mars. Damn it, stop moving, sacred fire of Mars. He pointed his open hand at Azazel and fired several fire discs which he dodged, although he did not see the torrents of purple fire coming from the rings he dodged. Sailor Mars. Sees how her opponent comes out of the purple torrent, although quite emaciated with the armor on fire and clearly charred. Volley told me that this thing kills pretty quickly, I'm surprised you're still alive. Volley. It seems that my arrival was not necessary. Landing next to Ray with a scale mail similar to Issei's, only silver, I took out my Imperio Juggernaut overdrive for nothing. Sailor Mars. Then finish the job I did for you. Volley. I still say you are brave to always talk to me like that. Sailor Mars. I don't give a damn that you're a descendant of Lucifer, to me you're a stupid friend who thinks he's superior to others. Volley. Have I become a masochist, or do I like it when you call me that? Well, take a good look at why you fear me, compression divider. Suddenly Azazel began to grow smaller and smaller until there was nothing left of him in the place, leaving Sailor Mars quite surprised. Sailor Mars. If you have such power, why don't you finish your fights quickly? Volley. What's the point of that if I can't fight against more powerful opponents? Sailor Mars. Oh Ray, why did you have to fall in love with a fighting maniac? Sighs. Both could see in the distance that the dark area disappeared, which made them understand that the fight had ended. The Kawa Temple. It was already nightfall and everyone had calmed down upon seeing them return alive. Each one went to their respective homes, leaving the owner and her companion in the temple. At this moment Volley was looking at the moon in the sky. Volley. Well, after thinking about it a bit, I think I've made a decision. Albion. In what? Volley. As a descendant of Lucifer I must continue generating demons, although in this case they will not be of pure blood, since the only one I will allow to have my offspring is Ray. If you mention another girl I'll make sure your species is here. Volley turned around somewhat surprised by Ray's appearance. Volley. I thought you were asleep. Ray. I wasn't going to sleep, at least not without doing what I had planned first. Volley. Ha, and what is it? Without giving him time to react, the priestess approached the boy and gave him a kiss on the lips. After a few seconds she separated and she could see how the boy had a stupid face, since he did not expect that. Ray. You were careless, so I had to take advantage to clear it up right away. The one who will have your descendants will be me. Albion. I think he's declared his love for you. Volley. Don't tell me Sherlock W. Wait, aren't human guys supposed to be the ones who declare their love? Ray. Well, it's not my style, and if it were up to you, I'd be waiting my whole life, so it was better for me to take the first step. He starts walking towards the temple. Oh, and don't expect to do those things now, you'll have to wait until I finish high school at least. Volley. Hey, I'm not a pushover like Hayato. After saying that, Volley entered with a smile on his face, since he was happy to start a relationship with Ray, and even more so since that night they would sleep together in the same bed. Kino residence. After returning home, Lita prepared dinner, and everyone ate until they were satisfied, especially Regulus and Jin, who sometimes fought over the last thing left, and with that everyone went to sleep after such a hectic day. At this moment in her room, Lita was reading something sitting on her bed. Lita. Oh no, with this victory we are 3-2, those gods are ahead of us. Here's a knock on the door. Oh come on Sererg. Sererg. Opens the door and enters. How did you know it was me? Lita. Regulus comes in like a cat, he opens the door without asking, and Jin, well, he's a shadow, he comes in whenever he wants. Sererg. Makes sense anyway, this day has made me think about some things and there is something I have wanted to tell you for months. Lita. Is he going to declare his love for me? If so, I wanted to do it first. Tell me without hesitation. She stands up to face him, which makes him even more nervous. Sererg. Why you see, ever since I started getting to know you better, you've made certain feelings appear in me. Can't I sound any more cheesy? Lita. Yes. Sererg. And so, in order not to go on and on about everything I feel, I just want to tell you that I'm in love with you. As if those words were the signal he had been waiting for, the lightning sailor jumped on top of the boy and gave him a kiss, something that, despite taking the young Bale by surprise, he followed the kiss. Sererg. Breaks away from the kiss. So do I take this as a yes? Lita. Yes, and I think you already know what to do. Sererg. Of course I know he. Meanwhile in the living room were Regulus and Jin, although the former got up from the couch, since he was in his human form, and by instinct began to head to Lita's room to sleep there in his lion form, although obviously smaller. He was surprised to see the door open, so he approached and stealthily poked his head inside the room, finding his master and Lita sleeping embraced with a smile on their faces. Regulus. It seems that they already declared themselves, although I thought that they mated, but well I think that they prefer to go step by step. After that Regulus came in and lay down on the ground in his lion form, while the couple slept happily with each other. Chapter 24.5 A little reflection. 3 days have passed since what happened, and it was already said that there are 2 more couples in the group, which everyone congratulated as they should. Even Issei cried with happiness when he found out that Sererg and Vali were not batting for the other team, although this raised a question in one person. Streets. Walking through the streets was the youngest of the Tsukino, who had the cat Luna on his shoulder, although they both looked a little upset. Sammy. Damn, since they became a couple now they kick me out of the house more. Luna. We will have to tie them up or something, because it will make the baby be born faster. They were both upset because Issei and Serena had taken them out of the house to have some alone time. Sammy. And by the way, Rini, Ray and Diana went somewhere else. Luna. This is boring. Well I think I'll go see Artemis at Mina's house, you see how you don't get bored boy. Sammy. Okay, maybe I'll go see Gasper, so bye Luna. Both took different directions to go to their respective destinations. Just before Sammy entered an alley to fly to Gasper's house, the outer's house, really he was stopped by someone who placed a hand on his shoulder. Sammy. Hey, you're the one who carries the most powerful longinus, was it Coco? Cow. It's Cow kid, and I see you're a little bored. How about you join us? Sammy. Who? Cow. I'm the one who had the idea of inviting you, pointing across the street to Molly, who greeted them. She recognized you and thought you were in a bad mood because of the face you had. Sammy. Oh yeah, she was a friend of Serena if I remember correctly, although I don't want to interrupt. Cow. You come and that's it. Starts dragging it. The rest of the afternoon was spent next to those 2 who had gone out to buy a couple of things, food for dinner, snacks, etc. They spent it chatting and having a very pleasant conversation. After a few hours they decided to stop at an ice cream stand, where they sat at one of the tables that were unoccupied in the place. Molly. I didn't know that Serena would be one of those people who, once she gets a boyfriend, does those things. Cow. Don't worry, it was probably Hayato Issei who corrupted her. Sammy. I share your theory. Fafner. Tell her I share it too. Sammy. Don't talk, there are people present. And what are you doing tonight? Cow. We'll watch some movies, since that's what we do before going to sleep. Eating some of his ice cream, since not all of us do the same dirty things as your sister and your future brother-in-law. Molly. I think I share your opinion. Cow, you have a little ice cream on your face. Cow. Oh I'm sorry, it's just that it's so tasty and I can't resist. Now this is the part where you clean me up. Molly. Let me help you. Cow. I'm not clairvoyant because I don't want to be. While Molly was cleaning Cow's face and he was joking, Sammy, seeing them together, began to think about the 2 girls who began to approach him with romantic intentions. After a few minutes, Molly got up to go find a bathroom, and after Cow left, he asked a question that caught him off guard. Cow. Well since he's not here, tell me, bearer of Fafner, when will you accept the feelings of the Mayu and the Princess of Kyoto? Sammy. What? Get so surprised he drops his ice cream on my ice cream, it's the 5th one this month, what's that question for? Ow cow. It's not that I want to butt in, well, it's a lie, I do want to butt in, I mean, it's obvious that both of them feel attracted to you, boy. Sammy. Do you know that one of them is an older woman than me? Ow cow. Don't you watch anime or read novels, boy? Even someone like me who didn't care much about love knows that if there is love, the rest doesn't matter, except if an adult says it with a minor, then measures must be taken, but well, tell me, what do you think about both? Sammy. Well, I would say that Kunu is great despite behaving a bit capricious, and Seraph all the same, even though she makes us feel embarrassed from time to time on the street. Hafner. Like the time she put on her magical girl costume and beat up some bank robbers. The funny thing was that after that she crashed into an ice cream stand with Sammy and they ended up covered in ice cream and in a pose that I died laughing that day. Sammy. And people took pictures, at least nobody saw her transform, yes, but despite everything, she is very powerful and has that instinct to protect us all. Ow cow. You have two great women that any man would kill to have a date with. If I were you I would give them a chance, boy. Sammy. Maybe, since I also feel a bit weird when they're not around. Ow cow. Whatever you do, you have our support, boy. In fact, they may also be talking to them about the subject and reflecting like adults. Sammy. Maybe, thanks for everything cow cow, I think I'll go so as not to interrupt your date anymore he. Ow cow. Hey, I'm not Molly's partner, at least not yet, it would be after all this. Molly? What are they talking about? After finishing, Molly arrived and stayed with Cow Cow to continue with her exit, while Sammy decided to wander around a little longer, determined that he would reciprocate the feelings of both. Sammy. Yes, I will do it at any time, and I think it will be after this battle when everything ends. Hafner. That's how you talk, mate. Then you can mate and we'll smell your panties together. Sammy. Shut up, Fafner. I know residence. Meanwhile at Mina and Artemis's home, the former was in her room in the company of the other sailors except Serena for obvious reasons, and the outer ones Seraphil and Kunu, having a somewhat strange conversation. Mina. They're all pretty stupid, if they don't get hints, then attack them head on, that's what I'll do next. Lita. It took us a while, but we are finally a couple, but it will cost you more, since you are a boy who is inexperienced in this. Ray. And considering that he is Serena's brother, he will be quite brutal. Seraphil. We will listen to all your advice, that way I will get your love first. Kunu. Not if I do it first. Amy. It's okay that we help them, but why do we have to help them decide what lingerie to wear? Quite red when seeing the pile of magazines with themes for 18 plus on the bed, I should have stayed home studying size. In Mina's room they spent the whole afternoon advising the pair of DxD girls on how to conquer the youngest of the Tsukino, all with hexwell results. Meanwhile in the living room were Kiba, Luna and Artemis playing video games while listening to everything that was happening in Mina's room. Kiba. Not even playing Sonic can distract us from his screams. Artemis. I should have accepted the fight with those cats on the roof of the house. Luna. What roof or anything, don't go too far Artemis, although I will go scratch them if they don't shut up. Kiba. Raise your paw if you want to go out for pizza. Artemis. Luna. Me. Kiba. Alright, let's go now. They quickly took the keys to the house and the three of them went out to get pizza so as not to hear that screaming anymore. Chapter 25 A Test of Love. Time continued to pass, a week to be exact. Everyone was still training to finish the preparations to fight Kurai, since knowing that he is in the world of the DxD members, they only had to prepare everything, especially Haruka, to finish dominating Kalbrand. Taking advantage of the fact that they are almost there, someone decided to give a good friend a push. I know residence. In the living room of said place, specifically at the table of the place, the white cat Artemis was taking a nap, who with one eye half open, was observing the other two people with whom he lives daily. Mina. Quick Kiba, we'll be late. Kiba. Calm down, girl. Even if we run, I don't think we'll get there in time. Mina. Then you will run with your demon speed and carry me like a princess. Kiba. You're taking advantage of my nobility. Mina, I know we're good friends and that I promised to serve you faithfully the day I met you, but. Mina. Come on please, joining her hands and begging with a sad face. Kiba. Size okay, you win, let's go then. Mina. Yay, Artemis, take care of the house. After that, Kiba left carrying Mina princess style while hugging him all excited, and the last thing she could see through the window was how they disappeared out of nowhere, and this was due to the tremendous speed with which Kiba was recognized. Artemis. Those two are about to finally be a couple, but even though I have Kiba as a good friend, I still don't know if I should leave Mina with him. Gets up and goes to the house phone. I have to do it, I can't let Mina get her heart broken again, I won't allow that. Using his paws and tail he managed to dial a specific number and waited a few minutes until he finally answered. Artemis. Hi, it's me. I heard something interesting from Kiba that you could do with that thing you call wyvern. What do you mean? The price doesn't matter, I just want you to help me. Will you call them for this too? I understand, thank you very much. Really hangs up now, it's time to start this. After that he hung up and started walking outside the house, determined to do what he had planned, for the sake of mine. School. After school Mina had planned a meeting with Rini and Ray to talk about a certain topic, so she said goodbye to the others, and Kiba went somewhere else without her. After a few minutes of waiting the one she called arrived, and they all went to the volleyball court of the site. Rini? Are you determined to declare your love to Kiba? Hitting the volleyball to the other side of the net. Mina? Yes, we have been together for a long time, and everyone has had the courage to tell their feelings to their loved ones, and I think that courage has also invaded me since I am ready. Hitting the ball back. Ray. It's okay to say that, Miss Mina, but I don't want to sound like a party pooper or anything, but what if she rejects it? Tries to hit the ball but falls to the ground. Ah shit. Mina. Well, it would be another rejection to the list. It wouldn't bother me since it's normal that I never find the love of my life, because it's destined. Nana. Is it because of what happened with Kaido Ace? Speaking through Ray's busted gear. And before you ask, I know because Dad told me his story, the tragic curse of Sailor V. Mina. Damn nosy cat. Well yes, and it seems that what he said is true. My duty will come first, and I will never find love. Some years have passed since then, but that bad luck continues to haunt me. Ray. See, come on Miss Mina, you can't be so unlucky in love because of a few simple words. Nana. But Dad told me that ever since he met her, she has had rejection after rejection, the most recent being from a boy named Yatenku. Mina. Damn cat, you'll pay for this. Gossip. Nana, do Aunt Mina a favor and shut up. Nana. Sorry. Rini. Come to think of it, you always spend a lot of time with Artemis. Have you ever thought about dating him? Mina. He's just a friend, I'd even say a brother, so no, and Luna is not a decoration. Nana. But Dad told me about when Mom almost ran away with a boy in an incident with a princess named Kagaya. Mina. Nana. Nana. Sorry again, now I'll shut up. Boss Gira disappears. Mina. Yes, we both have a special affection for each other, but I don't think I'm going to do anything stupid because of the friendship we have. Diana. Miss Mina, I have some bad news. Entering the court with a note on her tail. Dad has challenged Mr. Kiba to a duel. Mina. Wow. Upon hearing the situation, the four were going to head to the site but were stopped by an unexpected quintet. Mina. Power Rangers. Surziches. You're wrong, citizen, we are the Satan Rangers. Making a weird pose. I am the red Satan Ranger. Ali. And I'm the white one. How did I let myself be convinced? Sarerg. And I'm the golden one. This is fun. Saji. And I'm the black one. I should have stayed solving the student council problems. Asper. And I'm the purple one. Did I say it right? Surziches. And we won't let you pass to do a favor to a good friend. Making weird poses. Thank goodness Itsuna couldn't chase me, because she's barely recovering from the hip pain I caused her. Am I embarrassing in this suit? That's ridiculous. Mina. Snaps fingers. I don't have time for this nonsense. Making the twinkle Aegis appear. Get out of my way. And on the spot a fight started so that Mina would arrive quickly to the site and thus avoid an unnecessary fight. Ak. In one of the warehouses of that place was Kiba with his sacred demonic sword in hand. He looked everywhere but did not see who gave him the challenge. Kiba. What is Artemis planning? Since what does she mean by that I'm not worthy? Where are you, partner? Artemis. Did I keep you waiting, partner? Someone came out of one of the large boxes, although Kiba was surprised to see that instead of a cat, there was a human with white hair and a suit of the same color, as well as carrying Ascalon too with him. Kiba. Who are you and why do you have the second scale? Notices his crescent moon on his forehead. Artemis. Artemis. Yes, it's me. Before you ask, Luna and I come from a different race in which we have two forms, the cat one that you see and the human one, although unlike Luna, I am able to do it at will, although I prefer the cat form. I mean, sleeping and eating is the best. Kiba. I remember you mentioned it once, but since we never talked about it again I had forgotten. Now answer, what is the reason for the letter? How is this about me not being worthy of a mine? Artemis. You know that I'm her best friend since she woke up as a sailor, right? I know everything about her and I know better than anyone that her luck in love is not the best of all. Kiba. And you think I can hurt her? Artemis. The few who have come to be deep in Mina's heart ended up leaving or dying, remembering Yaten and Kaido Ace, and you are the same as them, therefore I have to prove that you are worthy of staying with her, and I will know that you will never break her heart. Kiba. I really don't care what his past loves did, I would never do anything to hurt him. Artemis. That is something I will decide in this battle. Kiba Udo, I challenge you to a duel. Raises sword and whistles. Suddenly, coming out of dark places in the warehouse, several wyvern in the form of scale mail bosted gear gathered around Artemis, who began to combine with Artemis until the scale mail completely dressed Artemis. Kiba. Ah, that's it. Artemis. The Red Emperor Dragon scale mail, Issei and office told me what was necessary wielding Ascalon too. I have never fought in my life, but thanks to this, I think I will be able to fight you. Kiba. Issei helping him. But are you emanating an aura? Artemis. I asked Drake for a favor, and this aura is the result of that favor. Maybe my body will end up bad after this, but I will not be calm until I do this. Kiba. Heh, it would be rude of me if I refuse this. Buries his sword in the ground. It's better to fight with everything then. Swarthbirth, Blade Blacksmith. All kinds of swords of different shapes began to emerge from the ground, although suddenly skeletons with dragon-shaped armor began to emerge who began to pull out the swords that also appeared from the ground. Kiba. You still want to face me? Artemis. Remembers what Issei told you. Let's go. Scale mail. Bost explosion. Artemis. Come on. The soldiers threw themselves to attack the opponent who at a surprising speed began to destroy them one by one with the help of Ascalon and the occasional punch. Kiba, seeing this, whistled and several of his soldiers began to leave the warehouse with him while another number stayed facing the cat. Artemis. Hey, don't run away. I have to be careful. What was the attack that Issei told me about? Oh, yeah, dragon shot. From his left fist, where he did not carry the sword, he fired a torrent of tremendous power that completely swept away all the soldiers in the place, also leaving a hole in the ground of the site. Artemis. I'm sorry, people who work here. Leaves the warehouse seeing himself surrounded by several of these soldiers without seeing Kiba anywhere. Damn, I don't see him. Kiba. Attack my knights. The soldiers threw themselves again to try to harm the opponent, but he did the same as before, although in one of his attacks when he tried to stop a sword with Ascalon, it flew away after colliding with the sword of one of the soldiers, which felt different. Artemis. That sword is different. Why do I feel terrified? Kiba. Because you were hit by one of my soldiers carrying the demonic sword. Graham appears next to his soldier who has Graham. You may have a lot of power, but if you don't have even a degree of experience, the one who will test you is me. Raises the sword to hit him and his soldier. Just before he could hit him, he could see how the armor changed from red to pure white and how Artemis put her hand in front. Artemis. You won't stop me. Scale mail. Reflect. As both swords clashed against the palm of his hand, the attack that was aimed at Artemis returned, destroying all the soldiers on the spot and sending Kiba violently crashing into a ship that was nearby, opening a hole in it in the process. Artemis. Ah, gasping, he lands on the ground as the wings on his armor disappear. This is incredible. Is this what real battles are like? Good thing I took what Issei told me. Flashback. Gathered at the Tsukino residence, Issei was listening to what Artemis was telling him. Issei. I think you're asking too much, Artemis. It's true that with my wyvern and Drake's power, we could make you have a scale mail and great power, but that would be too much power for you, even if you have a body to adapt it to. Artemis. I already told you my reasons. If you were in my shoes you would do the same. Issei. Well, yes, but still. Drake. Leave it, mate. I have not experienced this type of thing, and I understand it more. Of course we will help you, Artemis. The truth is that it would also serve to try other things. Besides, it wouldn't be bad to help a friend, although you will not be the same after obtaining my power. Artemis. Thanks, Drake then. Issei. Sighs. Well, I'll tell you the consequences, and the most you can do with both my powers, and volleys, making Ascalon too appear from his bossed gear to take it away and puts it on the table. Artemis. Huh? Issei. Ah, that's right. Let me explain to you how the abilities of the Securite, the Hakuryaku and our wyvern work. End of flashback. Artemis. With this I will make it more complicated. Come out, it's not over. After shouting that, Kiba quickly appeared a couple of meters away from him. He looked damaged with several cuts on his body and his clothes quite torn. Kiba. You've damaged me quite a bit, although it's due to my own attack. It's clear that you're going to go all out. His sacred demonic sword reappears as he takes off what's left of his shirt. The truth is that I wasn't taking this seriously, since you're an amateur at this, but I totally regret it. Let's fight with everything so you can see that I'm worthy of a mine. Artemis. Don't let me down. Kiba grabbing Ascalon, who had fallen a few meters away from him, and wields it. Let's go. Kiba. Go ahead. They both approached each other to start a sword fight, since the only thing that could be heard in the place was the clash of metal. Chapter 26. A Sincere Love. Flying around the site were Sailor Venus, Ray, Diana and Rini, the second one carrying everyone thanks to the wings provided by the scale mail. The four could observe certain traces of battle around the site, since apart from the shattered swords and the armor in pieces which disappear after a while, they could also see a ship that was sinking. Sailor Venus. Those two went overboard with their duel, and since when can Artemis stand up to Kiba? Ray. We got the information from the others, so we'll see how. Mina beat up Surziches, and the others ended up cooperating so as not to suffer the same fate as the Mau. Mina was not very happy that Artemis made such a decision, and for those reasons that they told her, so right now she is looking to stop them. Rini. There they are. Diana. Mr. Kiba is fighting with my dad. The others looked in the direction, and it was true, in a part somewhat far from the warehouses, and with more space was Kiba, who was fighting using his sacred demonic sword, and a young man with white hair, with part of the armor destroyed using Ascalon too. Diana. It's Dad in human form. Sailor Venus. Is that Artemis? Looks at him carefully. Well, if Kiba hadn't arrived, maybe he would have tried to set the dogs on him. Diana. Don't go too far, Miss Mina, otherwise I wouldn't exist. Sailor Venus. Joke, anyway, let's approach carefully to stop them. Meanwhile, both fighters gave each other a strong headbutt, causing them to step back to catch their breath. Kiba. You're not doing too bad, with a few months of training we could make you someone very useful in battles. Artemis. I'm glad to hear that, but I'd rather continue helping away from the battle since this is a special occasion. Kiba. Respectable, but well, let's continue. Artemis. Yes, wielding Ascalon he approaches again and tries to make a vertical cut. Kiba. Stops the sword blow with his own and pushes him with it, gives him a strong knee in the stomach that is unprotected, and then hits him with the hilt of the sword in the face, sending him crashing to the floor. You may have been given great power, but your body is not resistant. Artemis. Cough, spitting out some blood. He gets up realizing that his armor is in pieces. That was the only thing those wyverns could help me with, then I'll give you a sword dual wielding Ascalon. Kiba. Am I still not worthy? Artemis. I'll decide that, now. Kiba. Both continued with a clash of swords, and now it was a duel of resistance, since Kiba was very tired by the soldiers he had to summon, and the wounds he received due to the reflect, while Artemis was because his body was not fully accustomed to this type of combat. Now it was to see which of the two falls first. Kiba. Clashing swords with his opponent. Do you love her that much? Artemis. She is my partner and my best friend, she is one of the most important people in my life, and since I will not always be by her side, since I also have my own family, at least I want to know that she will be with a partner as faithful as me for life. Kiba. Respectable, now let's finish this duel. Artemis. You already roared. Both separated from each other with a strong punch to the face and moved away a little from each other. The conversation was heard by the newcomers, and the anger that Sailor Venus felt for this fight was replaced by gratitude. Sailor Venus. I didn't know that our friendship went that far, and I'm always doing you wrong. Rini. That's a real man or cat. Diana. Oh my dad, even with his nonsense he's noble. Sailor Venus. And that's why I must interrupt this. Issei. Let them fight. Out of nowhere Issei approached the group and his wings make it clear that he came flying. Ray. Why can't we stop them, Dad? Issei. It's something that only men understand, is it stupid? Yes, but that's how we understand each other. Sailor Venus. That's total bullshit. Issei. Just look at the conclusion, anyway you have the sacred gear capable of healing any wound, so don't complain. Sailor Venus. Okay, but if you go too far I'll stop you. Issei. Let's keep watching. At Issei's request, they watched the duel of swords and punches that they both had until the climax of the fight arrived where they both stared at each other. Kiba. Here I come, Artemis. English. Artemis. I'm going too, Udo. They both ran towards each other and threw a short single. The moment was so fleeting that those who observed could see how Artemis dropped the sword and fell unconscious to the ground with a large wound in his chest, followed by Kiba, who fell on his back because he had Ascalon II buried in his stomach. That was the signal for the group to approach to help, although they gave Kiba as a clear winner for having been standing a few seconds longer than Artemis. Dino residence. In one of the rooms Kiba woke up looking everywhere until he saw Rini and Diana in the back of the room. Kiba. You are Rini and Diana, what are you doing here? Rini. We came to visit you, they were sleeping all day yesterday. Kiba. I see. Sorry to worry you. Diana. There's no problem, and my dad also woke up a few hours ago, although he can't move well. Kiba. How so? Diana. Apparently it is the effects of using so many things that do not belong to him, and incidentally in a battle without any experience, Mr. Issei says that it is almost a miracle that he was alive and can still walk. Rini. Yes, and Issei also says that other side effects will manifest soon, like something he called draconification. Kiba. Wow, he really appreciates Mina so much that he reached the same point as Issei with the president. I should have taken it more calmly, and where is Mina? Rini. She is in her room taking care of Artemis with Luna. Everyone left when they saw that they were healed, so we also left. Kiba notices he's covered in bandages. He did cut me a few times, haha, aren't you guys going to stay a little longer? Diana. No, since you have passed Dad's challenge, so we know you are coming, so see you tomorrow. Rini. Take care. After that, they both went out the door, and Kiba did the same, only to go to Mina's room, where upon entering he could see her changing the bandages on Artemis, who turned back into a cat while scolding him along with Luna. Mina. You really went too far, Artemis. I even had a hard time healing you with Twilight healing. Artemis. And you couldn't heal the scar on my chest. It's not noticeable in my cat form, but oh well. Luna. We talk and we leave it to you so you can think about what you did. Artemis. But I had my reasons. Mina. I understand you and I am very grateful, my friend, but you ended up worrying us. Luna. Thank goodness Kiba didn't mean it. Kiba. I'll correct you there, Luna. I always take all my battles seriously. Realizing who came in, Mina carefully left Artemis on the bed and went to give Kiba a big hug, who was very surprised since he wasn't expecting that. What he was expecting most was a punch. Mina. I'm glad you're okay, Kiba, and congratulations for passing the silly test of my jealous friend Artemis. Artemis. But she will be a daughter of. Kiba. He thanks, and I'm sorry to do this without telling you anything, but I couldn't ignore the approval of someone who has been with you longer than me. Mina. Well yes, I think I would have done the same if I were in your world, hahaha. Kiba. I think it wouldn't have lasted even 2 minutes against Kaneko. Luna. Well, I think we'll leave them in private so they can talk, right Artemis? Artemis. Yes, they have my approval so there are no problems, let's go Luna. Luna. Okay, let's go and I'll help you, she whispers. I'll take care of you since you're recovering, but it must be in private. Artemis. Turns red, haha, I already got a ticket. Whatever you say, Luna. See you later guys. After that the cat couple left the room and closing the door behind them thanks to Luna's tail, since Artemis was leaning on it after being alone. Mina looked at Kiba. Mina. You know what he means by approval, right? Kiba. Obviously, that's why I accepted your challenge so I could tell you without any problem that I love you. Mina didn't wait any longer, and with those words that were her green light, she pushed Kiba onto the bed behind her and climbed on top of him. Kiba. Mina receives a quick kiss and separates, leaving him quite red. Mina, could you go slow? Mina. Wait. I've been patiently waiting for those words all my life. This day you'll see how much love the goddess of love can give you. Kiba. Oh my god, it's my first time, why be gentle? Mina. I love you too. In the living room was Diana, who had stayed in the living room and was red as a tomato since she could hear everything that happened in the room above. Diana. At least my parents went somewhere else, I better go. Diana left the place quite red but happy since she knew that another couple had finally declared their love to each other in a good way, thus starting another beautiful relationship. Chapter 27, Courage to Love. A week and a half passed. Kiba and Mina's relationship was accepted by everyone and they gave big congratulations, although they were terrified when they saw why Kiba missed 3 days of school, and it was because Mina left him dry and did something wrong in one of their passionate relationships, and he won't be able to move for a few more days since, just like what happened with Setsuna and Surziches. He would stay with that injury until they learned not to be horny, making everyone have partners. It should also be noted that Artemis began to suffer from draconification by using the power borrowed from Drake and other methods that he used with the help of Issei. Said draconification causes some parts of his body to turn red with scales, but is stopped thanks to Mina and Twilight healing. The rest, everything happened normally after that event, although it made a person think. Tsukino residence. Everyone had decided to have separate parties between boys and girls. Luckily for the boys, they all met at the Tsukino house to have their male meeting, although they ended up turning it to a specific topic. Issei. And when will you do it? Asper. Do what? Surziches. Declare yourself to the person I know you like. Everyone present turned to see Gasper, who was the only one wearing a rather feminine pajama, which, it should be noted, was lent to him by Hot Air. Asper. Well, it's complicated. Saji. You have no excuses, Gasper, we all have had the courage to do it. Sererg. You're right, it may seem difficult to know what the other person will say, but whether they reject or accept you, you'll be calm knowing their answer. Kiba. Haha, yes, he's right about that, or they'll break your little friend in one fell swoop. Luckily they let me heal now. Asper. I don't know. How cow. Come on boy, you're a vampire, you're supposed to have it all when it comes to conquering women. Playing a game with Volley. Volley. It's silly, but it's good to just try it. Asper. Well, you're right, but what do you recommend? Milikas. You've already accepted it so it's a good start. I've never been in love, but what if you try with some flowers? Artemis. And if not, a date to the cinema is always good. Sammy. But check that the movie is not +18, they set that trap for me, and I had a bad time. Issei. Whatever the way, we are here to support you Gasper. Gasper? Oh, thanks guys. Sammy. Actually, the first thing will be to put something more masculine on him. Gasper? What? He slowly gets up to try to leave, but is stopped by the long Ina spear that Cao threw towards the Wally. Cao. Oh no boy, we will dress you like a real man. Gasper? I don't like it. Surziches. You won't escape this time Gasper. There was a big fight in the house to dress Gasper in men's clothes. Issei had to start preparing the apologies he will give to Serena for all the mess. Outer residence. The girls' meeting took place in said house because Mina's was a mess, and after finishing talking about how much they had advanced in handling their sacred gears in Serena's case, the power of destruction, they moved on to another topic of interest to all of. Haru. When will I tell Gasper my feelings? Mina. You can see it in your eyes, and you get a little jealous every time you see him surrounded by the girls from his school. Haruka. It was funny to see how you would cause a big problem when we went to look for him, I even felt sorry for you. Haru. Okay. Serena. When love comes, it always comes in many forms. In this case, it is a boy who dresses as a woman. Satsuna. That reminds me of that. Haruka. Hey, at least I don't complain when I wear other clothes. You can't show him some pants because he'll run away, although I'm still worried that the only clothes he wears are Haru's. Haru. We have to break him of that bad habit, but even with all that he is a good boy. Lita. Although it's scary when he turns into that form called Gasper Baylor. Haru. Since you all have had the courage to tell your feelings to your loved ones, then I think I will do the same. Michiru. Good for you Haru, remember that we are here to lend a hand whenever you need it. Haru. Although I wouldn't like to be the one to declare my love, I have an idea. Amy. What idea? Haru. It's so that he declares his love for me and at the same time, get his courage out. Listen, this is the plan. Rini. As long as it includes violence, I'm with you. Ray. I think it hurt him to spend time with me, I like him, I'm with Rini. Luna. Come on, tell it. Haru. This is what we will do. After that Haru proceeded to explain what was planned, something simple but effective. School. The school day had ended, Gasper got up from his seat and said goodbye to his classmates to continue leaving his school. At the entrance he found Sammy and Milikas, with whom he spent more time apart from Haru, although they had a face of confusion. Gasper. Hey guys approaches and waves, and what are you doing here? I thought you would wait for me to go home to change, and then we would meet at Mr. Surzich's workplace. Milikas. Yes, indeed we were going to do that, but we found this letter that was given to Mr. Surzich's. Sammy. Also, coming to see you at school is one of the few times we can see you in men's clothing, even if it's just the uniform. Gasper. Yes, whatever you say. Takes the letter and opens it to read it. Let's see, dear Gasper Vladi, we have kidnapped Haru Tomo, and if you want her back, you must complete these 3 tasks. All 3. What the hell ooh. They screamed so loud that everyone stared at them because of the surprise it gave them, since it was an extortion letter. Gasper. What do we do? Sammy. We can't call the police since it says so in the letter. Oh, look, it says your 3 tests are, number 1 get a tuxedo, a mask and put it on. That sounds complicated, considering you have to put it on yourself. Milikas. Number 2 buy a bouquet of roses and drive to this address. Does anyone know how to drive? Gasper. Tried to drive but ended up crashing Miss Haruka's car. Milikas. That explains why Miss Haruka tried to kill him with Durandal 1 month ago. And you're Sammy? Sammy. No idea, but we can try between the 3 of us since number 3 says come with companions, but they can only give moral support, so we'll have to get going. Gasper. I don't know who he is or if it's true, but nobody messes with Haru, she'll have to deal with me. Milikas. That's it, Tiger, you have our support. We can buy the tuxedo somewhere and the roses too, but where do we get a car? Sammy. We can take the car from Mr. Vali, he recently bought one. Gasper. What are we waiting for? Let's go. The trio ran off ready to rescue Haru. The Kawa Temple. At the entrance of the temple was Vali looking with some excitement at the keys in his hand. Vali. Now I understand what Haruka says about cars and speed. It was good to listen to her about what to buy with the money I got in that lottery. Ray. If you're going out, bring some chicken, that's what we'll have for dinner tonight. Sweeping the entrance of the temple. Vali. Yes, calm down, I'll see you later. And Ray. I ask for the bathroom first. Vali. Shit. Vali began to calmly walk down the temple stairs until he reached where his car was parked, but his face turned angry when he saw 3 boys he instantly recognized trying to get into his car. Vali. Hey you bucking brats, get out of my car. Milikas. Oh no, he saw us. Asper. Did you recognize me even with this on? With the tuxedo and the mask on? Sammy. We have to speed up the process, makes his golden gauntlet appear on his right hand and destroys one of the windows with it and opens the door by removing the locks quick, everyone inside. Asper got into the back seat, Sammy as co-pilot and Milikas as driver and quickly started the car. Ollie. Wait you bucking brats. Sammy. Go go go. Asper. Step on the gas. Milikas. Help me Satan. Doing as he was told and remembering the things his dad once told him about how cars are driven, he managed to start the car and drive away at full speed, leaving Volley behind, who couldn't follow them because the act was seen by a lot of people at least when the three of them got into the car, they didn't see the way. Volley. Sons of Hitch's thieves, the father, sister and girlfriend of the three brats, will have to deal with me. Volley had to walk to the store cursing in his mind everyone who crossed his path. Theater. In a huge theater that could fit quite a few people, on the big stage were the Outer, the two-time travelers and the cats collaborating on everything they had planned. Sailor Uranus. Is everything ready? Michiru. Is that Haruka outfit necessary? Sailor Uranus. Looking at her pirate costume, what? I had to match, and Haderu is also dressed for the moment so they won't notice it's me. Michiru. They are young, but it doesn't mean they are stupid. Okay, hey Haderu, how are you? Haderu. Sitting in a makeshift cell made of paper. Well, although this dress reminds me a bit of my princess dress. Setsuna. That's why I made you use it instead of any princess one. Okay team, let's get ready, we only have one take. Oh, I've already gotten stupid because of Surzich's. Artemis. But if we use this to record carrying a camera on his tail, this will be a good independent film. We help Haderu and participate in a film festival. We kill two birds with one stone. Rini. This is going to be fun. Diana Ray. Although ridiculous. Luna. Here they come. Michiru. Okay, everything's ready, everyone to your positions. After that everyone left the stage and went to their respective positions, turning off the lights, entering through the main door being the three boys who looked quite nervous. Sammy. Damn Milikas, you almost ran over two old ladies. Milikas. If you weren't yelling at me all the time then we'll have to pay for Mr. Volley's car. Sammy. I don't know how you skidded, but parking the car in a lake was amazing. Asper. SHH, we're here. The three of them took a couple of steps until some lights illuminated the stage where Sailor Uranus was carrying Durandal with her and Haderu was locked in a jail. Asper. Haderu. Sailor Uranus. Don't take another step, the only one who was challenged is Gasper Vladi wielding Durandal in front of them. Michiru. She's good at acting, but she'll be discovered in the act. Milikas. He is carrying Durandal. Sammy. So they also attack the Sailor Outer, these guys are terrible. Asper. You'll see, I'll rescue Haderu from these vile guys. Michiru. One of two, Haruka is so good that she managed to fool them or they are very stupid. Asper. I have fulfilled your three demands, so I ask you please to leave Haderu alone, giving the bouquet to Milikas to hold. Sailor Uranus. Well, I'm supposed to just challenge her with stupid courage now, but that wouldn't be funny, so I'll do something better. If you want her back, you'll have to fight my subordinate. All that. Haderu. Hey. Asper. I accept the challenge. I, Gasper Vladi, will rescue Haderu from your cruel claws. Come on Baylor. Baylor. This is ridiculous in so many ways, let's go. Sailor Uranus. Go ahead Crom Cruich, I choose you. After that, Gasper transformed into his Gasper Baylor form, while Sailor Uranus pointed to a place that was illuminated, showing that Crom Cruich was present, eating bananas while wearing a dragon costume with a silly face. Sailor Uranus. Come on boy. Gasper Baylor. Letting out a huge roar and throwing himself into battle against Crom Cruich. Even if my opponent is the most powerful evil dragon, he won't stop me. Crom Cruich. Throws the shells away and jumps towards Gasper. This will be entertaining after several months of hibernation. Setsuna. Taking out her phone and dialing a number. Hey babe. If they see that we'll need your healing, we already told you no, wait 2 weeks or you'll break their little friend again. Fine thanks, we'll wait for you in 5 minutes. Hangs up. Medical help is coming. Artemis. Recording with the camera, our film will win that festival. Luna. It's good that you can now move well and with it your enthusiasm. Haderu. I think I'll just practice what I'm going to tell him. Sits and just waits. If they go too far, I'll interrupt. Haderu began to read while the others watched the unbridled battle between Gasper Baylor and Crom Cruich. Chapter 28, A Peculiar Love. Theater. The fight between the evil dragon and Gasper Baylor continued in a physical way. Punches went back and forth on the spot. Meanwhile the others watched everything behind the curtains and Artemis recorded everything with the help of Luna. Crom Cruich. You know I've wanted to fight you since I saw your skills in that raiding game against the Hakuryuku team. Asper B. We were teammates at the time, in fact I'm also excited to face you. Prom Crouch. Let's see how long you last. Asper B, I went back down. The fight continued while the others watched everything from somewhere safe. Michiru. I think he went overboard calling Prom Crouch to fight. Sailor Uranus. Hey, I would fight or I would send the dragon. Issei. Let me guess, did you convince him with bananas? Arriving next to Serena who was carrying a bag of popcorn. Rini. And where did you come in? Serena. Through the back door, I got a text from Sammy and we came in a hurry, but I see that the situation is under control eating popcorn, although we would like to know the context. Ray. We kidnapped Hateru so that Gasper would show his bravery to rescue her, but one thing led to another, and Prom Crouch ended up fighting him. Satsuna. Said like that it seems very stupid, really. Artemis. This fight is taking too long, we have to end it now. Hateru. Leave it to me approaching the group. This whole princess in distress thing isn't my thing, though at least I know she cares enough about me to fight an evil dragon. Issei. And the most powerful, don't forget it also if it was the Gasper from before, he would have hidden in a box. How much has my cowhide grown? Wiping away a tear that came out. Serena. Who will do it? Hateru. I won't even transform for this. Hateru came out from behind the curtains and approached the battle area. Gasper Baylor and Prom Crouch were so engrossed in their duel that neither of them noticed she was there. Hateru. Boy sees how they don't pay attention to him. You asked for it. Opens his hand. Flagelo di colori dell'arcobaleno, speranza di briscola. Two huge bubbles came out of her hand, and without warning they caught the fighters who now paid attention to her, as did Gasper's companions, who upon seeing Hateru approached to see what she was saying. Hateru. Gasper, I'm fine, it was just a trick on my part. Gasper. Turns back to his original form. What? Sammy. So we stole Mr. Volley's car for nothing. Milikas. I think our training with him will intensify when this is over. Size. I'll start preparing my back. Prom Crouch. Don't intervene, girl. Hateru. I'll buy you a ration of bananas for a year. Prom Crouch. Okay. Is released from the bubble and leaves calmly. I'm at the Security's house, send them there. Serena. It's my house legally. Asper. So are you really okay? Hateru. Yes, I'm really fine, don't worry. Freeing him from the bubble, although she is surprised when he gives her a sudden hug. Gasper. Asper. Thank goodness, I was already very worried that something would happen to you. Sammy. How sentimental, right? Milikas. Oh come on, we'd all be like that if we were in his place. Rini. You all shut up and come here. Milikas. Swallows, we better do what they say, listen to the authors of this idea. Sammy. Yes, whatever you say. Those two retreated to where the others were, while Gasper stayed hugging a blushing Hateru who was quite happy. Cinema. 2 days passed since what happened, and Artemis, being represented by Mina, clearly participated in a homemade film festival where everyone could participate, no matter what the movie was about, except those over 18 years old. Everyone was invited, since it was a serious film screening in a park, so everyone could go see it. Night came that day and everyone gathered to see the performance, although of course everyone was in their different groups and somewhat separated since they sat down with tablecloths. Issei. They're going to show the Artemis movie. Lying down looking at the screen. Serena. According to the synopsis, it's about a vampire dragon knight who rescues the princess of Saturn, and I have to admit that in terms of characters, it's original. Lying next to Issei. Artemis. You'll see, I'll win this festival and I'll take the prize. Luna. The prize was 2 tickets to an amusement park, right? Well, what a bad prize. Diana. SHHH mom, otherwise we'll get depressed. In one part there were the leading couple accompanied by the cats, meanwhile the sailor inner were with the outer enjoying the movie just like the DXD members. Seorerg. It's a shame that Cao couldn't join us. Ray. He came to see Volley, and from what I heard he said he wouldn't come because he wanted to spend as much time as possible with Molly. Lita. Molly is so lucky to have Cao. The XD members. If only you knew what a son of a hitch he really is, or was he? Volley. Looking very badly at Sammy, Milikas and Gasper who sat far away from them. Damn brats. Haruka. Come on, the movie is about to start. Where are Hateru and Gasper? I hope they're not doing what I'm thinking because. Michiru. Haruka, I think Hateru is still too young for those things. Haruka. Mina is supposedly also a minor and well, she gave Kiba a bad feeling. Kiba. I prefer not to remember that, please. Shedding tears remembering the pain. I was in heaven and suddenly in hell. Satsuna. I understand your pain, it almost broke me in two that time. Mina. It was my first time. Surziches. I was very excited. Sorry. While they were doing their thing somewhere else were the time travelers with Sammy, Milikas, Serafal and Kunu. Kunu. Come on Sammy, sit here next to me. Serafal. No, here with me. Sammy. What if we all sit together? Both. They look at him really badly, but they make some space between them just because you ask nicely. Sammy. At the slightest touch, I'm shot out of here sits in the middle and feels how both of them take his arms. If I wanted to escape, I've already lost the opportunity. Milikas. Haha, they behave very funny, don't they, Rini? Rini? You're right, love is quite rare. Bray. Don't say anything or this could end up happening to you, although we must wish luck to those who finally had the courage to say it. The three of them turned to see Gasper and Haderu sitting under a tree, very close to each other, both calmly watching the movie that had already started, and to everyone's surprise, Gasper ended up asking Issei for men's clothes to dress up in, which caused Issei to throw water on him because he thought he was dreaming. Haderu. You see, you look handsome in men's clothes. Gasper. Well, you're right, although I still prefer the feminine. Hey Haderu, can I tell you something? Haderu. Of course, you haven't talked to me for 2 days, and today you come up to me saying, do you want to sit with me away from the others, just you and me, so say it because it's surely something I've been waiting for a long time. Gasper. Well, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart that I love you. When he turned to look at her finishing those words, he was greeted with a kiss from his companion. When they separated he was redder than blood, while Haderu was simply a little red. Haderu. Does that answer your question? Gasper. Why yes. Haderu. Well, now that it's official, when we grow up a little more then I'll finish turning you into a man. Gasper. Ah yes Valerie, Miss Riaz, you should no longer worry about me wherever you are, since my new reason to continue living and fighting has intensified even more. They both hugged each other, watching what was left of the rest of the movie now as a happy couple. The XD world. Under a blood-red sky mixed with purple, in a ruined city, Kurai was levitating around the place as if searching for something. Kurai. The truth is that this took me by surprise. Where are those flies? Right here, damn it. A huge blue dragon appeared from the buildings and punched her, sending her flying far away, destroying several buildings in the process. So that you may witness the strength of the son of the meteor dragon, Bovatanen, showing his dragon wings. We had to do a secret attack. Silly, a young boy with a white-haired Kuo Academy uniform arrives next to him. Bova. Shut up Auryu, that wretch may have the power of Trihexa, but just a few weeks ago the power of the ex-Mao Lucifer was felt. It is likely that Lord Issei is alive. Auryu. I would like that too, but we must not have false hopes. Kurai. Just as I thought, appearing in front of both without a scratch. Nakiri Auryu and Bovatanen, if memory serves me right, you were on the Securite team before the Trihexa was released again and destroyed everything. Bova. Shut up, don't mention that beast again. Auryu. Also, not all of us died in that brutal battle against that monster, although few of us still make many races, even though many became extinct in the sealing process. Kurai. They would be a big problem for me if I left them alive, making a purple ball appear. I'm going to kill them, although I will tell you an interesting dice. Auryu. Which one? Kurai. The Securite as well as the Hakuryaku and others are alive in another world that is very close to this one, now they can leave knowing that they are alive. Auryu. So that energy we felt a few weeks ago from the Mao Lucifer is that he is alive. Thanks for the information, now Mr. Ruvel and Miss Suzaku. From one of the buildings 2 people came out, an adult man with blonde hair and a young woman with dark blue hair. The man put his hand in front of him, and from it came out a huge flame of fire that turned into a huge bird of fire, and the woman threw some talismans to the bird, who gained size and a more aggressive appearance. Kurai. So Ruvel Phoenix and Suzaku Hijimajima are also alive. Bova. Let's go, grabs Nakiri and flies away. Ruvel. Feel the beating of the phoenix wings. Suzaku. Come on, hit her already. Suzaku grabbed onto Ruvel, and he flew in the same direction that Bova took, while the firebird hit Kurai full on, generating an immense explosion of flames that began to engulf everything around it. The explosion of fire was so powerful that it almost reached Ruvel and Suzaku. After being at a safe distance, the 4 found themselves on top of a building, breathing heavily as that went better than they expected. Auryu. Mr. Issei and others are alive. Ruvel. We heard it from above, so we can cross it off the list of dead we had. Suzaku. This is great news, maybe you can help us defeat this threat once and for all, since knowing the Securite he must be training to defeat this new evil. Bova. Why, didn't you see that huge explosion? It's not necessary for Mr. Issei to return. Kurai. I think it will be necessary, rude dragon. The 4 of them got goosebumps when they turned around and found Kurai there, although in a different form and with angel wings. Kurai. Wow, that attack was more than that of a supreme class demon with the increase, thanks to a priestess expert in fire. Did they receive some help? No. Suzaku. TCH, we have to escape from here alive first if we want to tell this to our surviving leaders. Ruvel. Making wings of fire appear if necessary. I will fight alone, my immortality will be able to entertain her for a few hours. Are you? No way Sir Ruvel, just let me get to the ground and I will ask the sacred beast for help. Bova. I won't leave you alone. Hey, can I join the party? Appearing in the middle of both groups was a fairly young man with white hair and a bit of a beard, although what stood out most about him were the metal boots he was wearing. Are you? But it's Mr. Vider. Vider. You know that this girl has the power of Trihexa, and if my father along with several other powerful gods could not defeat him, do you think they could defeat her? At least I, as a god with years of experience and strength, will be able to entertain her. Kurai. Well, fighting Vider, the new leader of the Nordics doesn't sound bad at all. Won't Apollo be with you too? Vider. He's better than me when it comes to leadership, plus hearing that the Securite, the one who defeated me, is alive, will bring a spark of hope to the survivors of this pseudo-Ragnarok. Kurai. Is the Midgarson dragon trapped in those boots? Vider. Bingo babe, together with the world dragon, I will fight you. Turns to the others, you guys run away and give this information to all the survivors in every corner of this rotten world, that spark of hope must be lit. Bova. But. Ruvel. As you say, Mr. Vider, let's go. After Ruvel gave the order, everyone left the place, leaving the Moon Princess and the god alone in the place. Vider. I really don't know where you came from, but you absorbed the power of the beast we sealed, and you are an even bigger threat because you have intelligence, which that monster didn't have. Kurai. Well, you never know what can happen in a fight, show me what you know. Making the purple sphere appear again and kicks it, sending it flying at full speed towards Vider. Vider. Dad, Thor, Balder, give me enough strength to fight. From Bolvator shot his legs begin to gather a huge amount of powerful aura, and with a kick he shoots it as if it were a ray. Both techniques collided, causing great destruction in the part of the city where they were, thus beginning a brutal confrontation for the Norse god. Chapter 29. Ready for the trip to the DXD world. 3 weeks have passed since Gasper and Haru became an official couple, something that everyone celebrated. Even Issei shed tears of happiness, although Haruka almost strangled Gasper with her warnings, and with that they also finally finished their training. But said training ready, everyone was prepared for their departure, so they only finished the last preparations for the hours they had left there. Forest. In a part of the forest with a lake, Sammy and Milikas were doing some push-ups before their departure. Sammy. And 200, gets up. I've finally managed to do 200 push-ups without getting tired. Milikas. And 600 stands up. Not bad, right? Sammy. If you want we can also measure them so you can continue showing off. Fafnir. Hey, you respect but don't share. Kunu. Stop with the nonsense and come change. Both upon hearing the call, they found themselves on the site. Kunu in a priestess outfit, Seraphil in her magical girl uniform, Rini already transformed into Neo Sailor Moon, and Rei, with a bossed gear 2 on her left arm, as well as wearing a uniform similar to that of the Sailor Scouts, which was made for Rini as a gift, making her look identical to Rini. Only with the bossed gear as a difference. Seraphil. Before we go, Take gives them some uniforms if you want, change behind a tree. Sammy. Thanks for this. Kunu. It was my idea so maybe you like it. They both went behind some trees, and after changing they returned now dressed in the Kuo Academy uniform. Milikas. Great, I always wanted to wear this uniform. Sammy. And what is this? Seraphil. It is the uniform of the Kuo Academy, where Issei studied before all this. Mina made them using the boys' uniforms as a base. Sammy. This must mean a lot to the teacher, I feel very honored. Fafnir. And so many companions. Nana. What are we waiting for? It's time to go. NS Moon. You're right, we'd better hurry up or we'll be late, that's why we agreed to meet at the temple at 6 AM. Sammy. Come on then carries Kunu. It's my turn to carry you, since I have the wings thanks to my armor. He. Kunu. Whatever you say in your face, cash cow. Seraphil. Shit, I won. Milikas. Does the same with Rini. Come on, you don't have wings either. NS Moon. Let's go then. After that everyone left the place directly to the Hikawa temple. Hikawa temple. In the place waiting for the others were the Sailor Inner and the other members of DXD, who seemed somewhat happy to be wearing the uniforms with which they arrived in that world. Sererg. This brings back old memories. Saji. I think when this is over, I will found a school in this world that has this uniform. He. Bali. Heh, I really like this style. Kiba. Yes, it's like a memory that will always come back when wearing this uniform. Mina. Oh, but don't get so nostalgic. Hugging Kiba from behind. Besides, it cost me a lot to sew these outfits again, thank me very much because I pricked my fingers a lot. Raylita. We will gather the materials for you with our money. Amy. Okay, calm down, the time is getting closer, so it's time to transform. Sererg. Yes, I hope Regulus brings back those 2 cats that fell asleep on time. Lita. Well, it's normal since they won't come with us as it's a much more dangerous area. Ray. Well, let's transform then. The girls began their transformation into sailors to be ready when the others arrived. Outer residence. At the entrance where the already transformed outer sailor Uranus was carrying Durandal and Kalbrand sheathed on her back and the other members of DXD who looked somewhat happy with the uniforms they were wearing. Surziches. Aren't the Kuo Academy uniforms comfortable? What a nice gesture from Mina in giving us these uniforms. Surziches. Whatever you say, Mao. Lucifer eating bananas. Asper. I still don't like wearing the male uniform. Adjusting his pants. Can't I go in underwear? Sailor Saturn. No, and don't provoke me while transformed. Asper. Oh. Sailor Uranus. Okay, let's go, this person is getting very attached holding Office. Surziches. Hahaha, I think Office has already become fond of you Haruka. What were you doing with her so much? Haruka. Races, bananas, video games and a bunch of other stuff I don't know, I think talking a lot. Office. Autos. Her mouth is covered by Sailor Uranus. Sailor Neptune. Cars. Sailor Uranus. We better go, they're waiting for us. Has anyone forgotten anything? Surziches. The cardboard. Oh no, wait, I'm not a student anymore, Asper. Did you go to school, Mr. Surziches? Surziches. Obviously, but then we faced the ancient demon faction and well, I became Lucifer thanks to that and not my student grades. Asper. No wonder he only handles public relations and other issues being a Mao. Sailor Pluto. We better go. After that the group left the site in a magic circle made by Surziches. Osaka residence. In the jewelry store, more specifically in the owner's home, Cao was wearing the uniform of the heroes faction with which he came to that world in Molly's room who was sleeping peacefully. Cao. Speaking in a low voice. Well, me and Seraphil are leaving for a few days for sure. If we couldn't kill Trihexa, defeating Kurai will require a miracle. We'll be back as soon as possible. Taking out a letter and a small box from his uniform and puts it on the nightstand. Don't worry, I'll be back, and when I do you and I will go for a chocolate milkshake. Or I'll make you a proposition you can't refuse. He approached him carefully to give him a quick kiss on the forehead, invoked the Longinus and left the house very carefully to go to his meeting point without realizing that Molly got up to see how he left through that door. Molly. Wherever you go, come back soon as I'll be waiting impatiently for you. After saying that, he decided to keep the contents of the box and prayed to God to protect Cao and Seraphil to do what they were going to do. Tsukino residence. At the entrance of the house was Serena transformed into Sailor Moon and Issei with the Bosted gear active although wearing the Kuo Academy uniform. Issei. I still really appreciate you sewing this old suit. Sailor Moon. It's clear that you had a lot of affection for it since you kept it carefully, although it was good that I asked Lita for some advice on sewing that uniform. Issei. Are you worried about something? Sailor Moon. Well, not in this world, since we already notified everyone's school that we will be absent due to being sick, and my parents already notified that they will arrive in a few days, so they won't notice our absence. Issei. Serena takes her by the hand. I know you're worried about facing your sister, and by the way, she may be the most powerful enemy you've ever faced, and us too, if you want you and your friends can stay since in the end, it was our fault that this problem came to your world. Sailor Moon. Ice, do you still remember those words I said that day? I was hurt by Darian's death, I already told you it's not your fault, and Kurai comes from the moon, so part of the blame is mine. Issei. But I don't want you to be in danger. Sailor Moon. Kisses her on the cheek. I don't want anything to happen to you either, so that's why I'm with you, together we can even fight against the very end of the universe. Issei. Heh, you know how to cheer me up. Well, it's time to go, are you ready to face adversity? Sailor Moon. With you I can face even a god. Issei. Haha, those words bring back memories. After that Issei carried Sailor Moon like a princess and they went straight to the Hikawa temple. The Kawa temple. Everyone was finally gathered together, looking at Sailor Uranus wielding Kalbrand, with which they had opened a cut towards the dimensional gap. Surziches. Stay together, the power of Office will protect us as we go into the dimensional rift. Cao. Don't forget my spear, Lord Mao. Sailor Moon. Turns to look at the group of cats. Take care of yourselves while we're gone. Luna. Don't worry, we'll be waiting for you. Diana. Besides, we have Dad, who has recently started to spit fire. Greg. Problems with draconification. Don't worry, you are now half dragon and half your race, you just have to get used to it and be careful with dragon killing weapons. Nana. Hahaha, don't worry Dad, you'll get used to it quickly. Artemis. Whatever you say, take care of yourselves and come back safe and sound. Sailor Venus. Don't worry, my friend, we'll be back in one piece. Milikas. Cough showing his missing arm. Gunu. Hey, that doesn't count because that was here. Saji. Office, you stay here just in case something happens to us, you will be the last hope of this world. Office. Hope take good care of yourselves looks at Sailor Uranus when you come back can we go to those races again? Sailor Uranus. Yes, but next time hide well so that no one sees that the best racer has a girl without a helmet in her car. Sailor Neptune. So that spot I saw in her last race was Office pulling Sailor Uranus's ears worn first. Office. Yes. Sailor Moon. Okay, inhales and exhales, let's go to this other world to fight against Kurai, we will fight and win for a better future. All? Yes. After that, they all entered the dimensional gap together, and after the last one entered, the crack closed, leaving Office and the trio of cats in place, who prayed for their victory. Office. Maybe, just this once I'll be right back. They left the place leaving the cats wishing the best of luck to their friends. The XD world. The crack opened in the place and coming out of it were the Sailor Scouts and the members of DXD, who were left looking surprised at the appearance of the place, mostly the sailors since for those of DXD they felt sad seeing how the world was left. Sailor Mercury. So this is your world. Bringing up his visor and starting to analyze the terrain with his computer. Saji. Yes, just like that beast left it when we fought against it. Sailor Uranus. Sheathing cauldron. Okay, where are we going? Issei. Let's find where Kurai is so we don't last too long here. Sailor Mercury. Watch out, there's someone nearby. This alarmed everyone and they prepared to fight, although the energy that everyone began to feel was instantly recognized by Surziches. Surziches? Wait, that energy is from Sakiriite Surziches, I'm glad you're alive. Landing in front of them was a young man with blonde hair and 12 white wings. The sailors were surprised since it was the first time they had seen an angel, although Surziches approached him quite excited. Surziches, I didn't think you survived Archangel Michael. Miguel. I am glad from the bottom of my heart to see that you are alive, Ruvel's group was right, I am glad that you are alive, friends. Ali. Wait, Miguel, didn't you die in that Trihexa attack? Since it is assumed that most of those who were in the isolation zone died when the Trihexa was released. Miguel. I survived thanks to the Norse gods, but I couldn't join the battle at any time because my wounds and the constant stalking of one of the parts of the Trihexa made it impossible for me to go and lend them a hand. Issei. Mr. Miguel, are there more survivors? Miguel. Yes, the human world is no longer habitable, so all humans and supernatural beings were moved to the only place that the Trihexa could not completely destroy, thanks to being sealed in time, the underworld notes to the Sailor Scouts, and I think we have to catch up. Sailor Moon. Nice to meet you, we are the Sailor Scouts. Miguel. A pleasure ladies, I am Miguel, the current leader of the Angels. Sailor Pluto. I think it's better to talk in that safe area, where we will tell everything. Miguel. You're right, miss. The truth is that their survival will be a great hope for everyone. Issei. Let's go then. After that, with the help of Miguel, everyone was teleported to a place that the girls never thought they would visit, the underworld. Chapter 30 Current situation towards Kurai. Underworld, capital of Lilith. The home of the demons was the only place that came out half intact from the liberation of the Trihexa, both in the capital of Lilith and in the few territories that came out intact were the humans, demons, angels. Fallen angels and other supernatural beings who helped each other due to the situation that was experienced throughout the world, even the dragons and vampires, decided to cooperate due to the fatal situation. Everyone, despite the depression that many felt due to losing almost everything, still had at least a little hope, since they still had several leaders who could lead them to a hopeful victory. In a place crowded with many people from the site, you could see all the species helping each other, while the little ones tried to have fun as best they could, and some played with some Op-Eye dragon toys, since they hoped he would return, especially a child who was wearing the Op-Eye dragon cap. Demon child. I wish the Op-Eye dragon would come back. He will return, he always appears when we need him. Demon child. Op-Eye dragon, this doll. Looking at both children, is it a strong demon? Not only is he strong, he is a hero to everyone since he has done many things, and I know he will come to help us in this situation. Demon child. You always have hopes when it comes to the Op-Eye dragon, Laurenkus. Human girl. If only it were true. Human child. Hey, something's shining. All the children were watching a magic circle that appeared in the place, which caught everyone's attention. From the circle came the one that everyone knew as the Archangel Michael, but the one who came out behind him made everyone present who know his story remain incredulous when they saw them. Human adult. Mr. Miguel brought more people. Laurenkus. It's the Op-Eye dragon. But that shout, all the supernatural children let out a cry of joy upon seeing the hero of many there, and Issei was surprised when he was surrounded by a bunch of infants who happily hugged him. Issei. Hey, careful, wait, don't I know one of those kids? Kids. The Op-Eye dragon is here. Girls. Our hope has arrived. Many children who recognized the actions of the DXD members who were there went to hug them very excitedly, especially the actions they did in the different raiding games they participated in, with Issei and Sarayarg having more fans, while the adults approached the Mayu just as happily as the children. Adult Demon. Mr. Lucifer, Miss Leviathan, we are so glad to see you both alive. Surziches. I see that many are fine. I am sorry I did not have the strength to avoid this situation, but now that we are here, we promise that we will resolve this conflict to bring peace to all beings living in this world. Seraphol. Trust your Mayu, we will return all the trust placed in us by stopping this threat. The demons raised a cry of joy that was replicated by the other species, since if they had hope it was obvious that they had faith that they would resolve this conflict. After Surziches gave a talk as leader of the demons, they headed towards the castle, where the 4 great Mayu had the meetings. Since Miguel said that most of the leaders were there upon arriving, they went to the room where everyone met. Surziches. How's the situation, Miguel? Miguel. Several dead and many affected, however this place has had a little hope thanks to the fact that it is safeguarded by the power of all the remaining leaders, in addition to the fact that Tiamag, Yulan and Midgarsurm have been protecting this place from outside, since that girl with the power of Trihexa has not yet found this place or is turning a blind eye. Milikas. I would like to ask if my grandparents. Miguel. Oh yes, luckily for you Surziches, your parents are alive. Note the joy that formed on the face of the Mayu and his son, but it is not time to visit them. Surziches. I know, first let's defeat that damn thing, and then we'll get peace. Miguel. Okay, we arrived. At last they had arrived at a huge meeting room. Upon entering there were several people present, one angel, one fallen angel that Issei recognized, the new leader of the Greeks, and the new leader of the Nordics, the old Sun Wukong, the other 2 Mayu, an acquaintance of the demons and a Hindu god. Issei. But if they are Baraquiel, Apollo, Gabriel, the old Sun Wukong, Shiva, Sakvara Agares, Ajuka Beelzebub and Falbium Asmodeus. Apollo. So the rumor was true, the Securite and others were alive. Vider. How are you Securite? Oh, completely wrapped in bandages and without a leg, you took a while to appear. Ajuka. Surziches, Seraphol, it's a great joy to see you again. Falbium. Looks at the new people and I see that they have a lot to tell us. Surziches. Yes, I will update you. Seraphol. And you to us. Sakvara. We'll do it right away, there's a lot to tell. Notes to Issei and Sarayarg, it's good that you're alive guys. Sarayarg. I say the same. Baraquiel. Look sideways at Issei, I want to talk to you after all this. Issei. Gulps. Seraphol. Leave this to us, you guys can explore the castle if you want. Surziches. It won't take us more than a couple of minutes, we insist. Sailor Moon. If you say so. Issei. We'll wait outside. Sailor Venus. We would like Sailor Pluto and I to stay and listen to everything you have to say, I mean as the leader of the Sailor Scouts and Pluto is my companion. Shiva. Sailor Scouts. Surziches. Let's see, where do I start? Sun Wukong. I think it's because of the beginning, young man. The rest left while those who stayed began a long conversation about information and maneuvers. Hours later. 2 hours of meeting passed, after that ended everyone met in a huge patio of the place. Issei. Then they managed to gather all the survivors alive and survive longer with the help of the leaders and most powerful beings that still remain, in addition to the other half of Office, Lilith, although I am concerned about the fact that 80% of the human population was eliminated because of Trihexa. Seraphol. Apparently Lilith is guarding the underworld, meaning she is helping the Dragon Kings. Fafnir. Even if it's a woman with the power of Trihexa, it won't be easy to take down someone at the level of a celestial dragon and 3 Dragon Kings. Brita. I say the same as Fafnir. Sailor Moon. Are we going to face Kurai now? Surziches. Yes, they will also help us. Sailor Venus. But we will go ahead as we had planned, since the plan they have will take a little longer and they want us to gain time. Kiba. We always have to gain time. Sailor Pluto. By the way, in a few moments they will send someone to give you some news, we will listen to it before we leave. Gabriel. I've got the news. Approaching as fast as she could was the strongest angel in heaven, Gabriel, although Sammy and Milikas stared at a good couple of specific zones. Gabriel. Miguel sent me to answer any questions you may have and give you some news. He smiling innocently. Sammy. Whispers to Milikas, but look at those things, those are watermelons. Milikas. I've heard a lot, but it's the first time I've seen her so swallows. She's beautiful and has a nice bust. Sammy. They are the biggest I have ever seen in my life, with those you can feed an entire village. Feels that both of his ears are being pulled. Milikas. Feels his ear being pulled. Seraphol. So, looking at someone else's breasts. Kunu. Let's seriously discuss this. Amy Tsukino starting to drag the boy next to Serafral away to start hitting him. Don't ever do that in front of us again. Sammy. Sorry, help. NS Moon. Milikas, let's talk for a moment, dragging him somewhere else. Milikas. And where did this jealousy come from? Help, Dad. Surziches. Whistling, good luck my boy. Anyway, what are you going to tell each of us? Gabriel. Let's see, I'll start first with the security looking at Issei. Are you ready? Issei. Yes, feels how Serena gives him a strong pinch. Now you are a one-woman man. Issei, you have to resist by any chance my family and friends. Gabriel. Unfortunately your parents died in Trihexa's attack on the human world, but your human friends Motohama, Mitsuda and Kiryu apparently managed to survive by being somewhere else at the time Trihexa attacked the academy. Issei felt somewhat sad knowing that his parents had died, but he was slightly relieved to know that his best friends had survived such a catastrophe. Seeing this, Sailor Moon took him by the hand as if to give him strength. Sailor Moon. I'm here for you. Issei. I know, although they will surely be better off wherever they are. Gabriel. Saji, although all your friends died, it seems that your sister and brother did survive the catastrophe, although your brother was crippled but is recovering, thanks to the technology of the demons. Saji. Really it's true, when he attacked the area where my brothers lived I was forced to flee by orders of the president, so I couldn't verify if they were all dead. Oh, thanks to all the blessed in this world, hugging Sailor Mercury in happiness, at least they are alive. Sailor Mercury. Okay, Saji, after this we will go see him, after this I promise you. Gabriel. Volley Lucifer, even with the death of your friends like your team and Azazel, you should know that it seems that your mother and your half-brothers survived since they were the humans who were lucky enough to have Lord Sun Wukong around during the Trihexa attack. Volley. Really? Closes eyes while smiling. That makes me happy. Maybe after this, I'll decide to see her again. Sailor Mars. Did you hear that, Volley? You should be happy. Volley. I'm really happy, in my own way I'm very happy. Yes, after this. Gabriel. Sererg, although several members of your family died, your mother was lucky to survive. Sererg. Really? Quite happy. Did you hear, Lita? My mother is alive. Sailor Jupiter. I heard everything, Sererg, then you will introduce her to me when we defeat Kurai. Sererg. Yes, sure, you're going to love it, I promise. Regulus. Congratulations Sir. Sererg speaking through the armor. Gabriel. Kiba, even if you lost all your companions, that girl who lived with you called Tosca has been under our care, so don't worry. Kiba. Thank you very much, Miss Gabriel. It's because of these things that it feels like God is alive. Sailor Venus. Tosca. Friend or sister? Kiba. I'll explain later, but it reassures me that he's alive. Gabriel. Gasper. Unfortunately Valerie Teeps did not survive the attack, but all the pureblood and half-blood vampires have put their differences aside and are all working together to help everyone. Gasper. Helping each other. It's good to hear that we finally put that damn pride aside. It's a big step, right Valerie? Looking at the sky. Sailor Saturn. Congratulations Gasper. Gabriel. Cow, your friends from the Heroes faction have been working double time helping in this catastrophic situation. Cow. So they are alive. I'm glad to hear that in a way. Sailor Uranus. Well, now with all that said, shall we go? Shiva. Wait a moment. Arriving at the site you have the Kalbrand sword with you, right? Sailor Uranus. Yes, here it is showing said sword. Shiva. Well, Surziches. We have no choice, you have my permission. Shiva. Takes the Kalbrand sword. We will use this to do something we have planned, since all the living beings that we were able to save from the world are now in the underworld in the few sheltered areas, we will do something. Sailor Moon. Anything. Shiva. Something that includes the power of the lost dimension, Kalbrand, Great Red and the dimension of these girls. Looking at the Sailor Scouts. What we have planned will take time. Sailor Jupiter. What are you planning to do? Apollo. We will abandon this world and move all the survivors we sheltered here to your world, arriving next to them. Don't worry, we will be in your world, but on another plane, just like here, do you understand? Sailor Venus. I got lost. Sailor Mercury. I do understand what you want to do, but is it possible? Bajuka. With us everything is possible. Arriving next to Falbium. That is one of the things we have planned, since the reconstruction of this world is impossible, therefore we will go to another dimension in which to live, so we will move the part that was saved from the underworld to that new world, with the objects and powers mentioned. Falbium. So we need all the help we can get, so we'll be left unprotected if that woman with the powers of Trihexa discovers us, and that's where you newcomers come in. Issei. It seems risky, but it must be done, even though what will happen to the souls of all those who died? Gabriel. They will stay in this world, we have tried to move them, but they do not leave this dimension, so once we leave it they will also stay. Issei. They already lived their lives, and eternal rest is at least what they deserve. Okay, team on the move, we have to defeat Kurai. Bajuka. Try to give us as much time as possible, since apart from moving part of the underworld, we will also give you something to defeat her, since we cannot risk her chasing us even if we seal her. Sailor Moon. It's all too confusing, but we'll get through it. Bajuka. Okay, you guys will go first, and when we finish both things we will send you reinforcements. All? Yes. Issei. Then see you. How cow. I'm staying. Notes the confusion on Issei's face. I think this will require the help of God, showing the long Ina spear meaning true idea. Issei. I see, you're right, then we'll do double the work for you. After that, the Sailor Scouts, accompanied by the DXD members who arrived with them, went to a specific area guided by Surziches, to whom they told where Kurai was. Shiva. Okay, call George from the hero faction, with this we send all the survivors to a new world full of light. Bajuka. Then we will see how to distribute ourselves, since it seems that in that world there is no god or other deities, we can fit in without any problem, according to what Surziches and Seraphol told us. Apollo. Well, what are we waiting for? Let us hurry to send our support to those brave girls and the hopes of our world. Gabriel. Come on, come on, come on. After that, the group of leaders began to make the two plans they had in mind to end that threat. Human world. In the previous home of humans, specifically in the destroyed Kuo Academy, there was a bored Kurai in her dark Sailor Moon transformation. Kurai. Sai's battling against that Norse god was incredible, too bad he couldn't last 2 more days of fighting, anyway a week has already passed, so I'll see if they dare to come to fight, or I'll have to go to the underworld myself to destroy them. Notices auras coming from afar. They've arrived at the finals, come and fight with me, Sailor Scouts and DXD group. But that challenge, those who arrived were those mentioned, all ready and prepared for the difficult battle they will have in their lives. Chapter 31 The devastating power of Kurai. The XD world, human world. In the ancient place known as Kuo City was being devastated by immense explosions, pillars of fire, ice stakes, among other various elements of devastation, due to the pitched battle that was taking place on the site. Issei. Dragon shot going into his Diabolo's dragon form. Sailor Moon. Riding on Issei's back. Take this. From the air, both fired a huge mass of power towards Kurai, the power of destruction by Serena, which she dodged upon seeing, realizing that the attack hit a building that disappeared instantly. Kurai. Landing on the roof of a house. Wow, but that was interesting. Sailor Mercury. Stay where you are, come on Ice Lady, riding on top of her Ice Lady, who began to freeze everything around her and with it Kurai's legs, as she was on the roof of said house. Now take this Mercury's aquatic rhapsody. Kurai. Not bad. Frees her feet from the freezing and launches herself against Sailor Mercury's attack, receiving it but without any damage, except for her frozen arms. Is this all? Well, for a sailor who had to protect my sister and me, it's not bad. Saji. You were careless. Transformed into his malleable Vrita promotion form, he uses the lines coming out of his back to catch Kurai. Take Vrita's cursed flames. Sererg. He also receives a punch from the king of the lions. This is for making me believe that my mother was dead. Kiba. Don't forget about me and Graham. Kurai began to be enveloped in black flames and then received a strong punch sword blow that sent her crawling on the ground violently until she was stopped by a building that was there, leaving a large hole in the place where she crashed. Kurai. Ouch, that I can say hurt, using his aura to push the flames away from her. Okay, let me do the counterattack. Sailor Jupiter. Try if you can. Sailor Venus. We dare you. One with a twinkle Aegis shield and the other in the night celestial dog form went to attack Kurai physically while she avoided all the blows quickly and accurately. Kurai. Well, they're not doing bad, but get out of here. Throws a punch at Sailor Jupiter. Sailor Venus. Stands in front of Jupiter using the shield, and the punch sends them both flying until they hit the ground quite far from her. Ouch, although the shield absorbed most of the damage, I'm shaking from the powerful blow. Sailor Jupiter. Grrr, it's complicated, I'll try to do something with the shadows of the site. Sailor Venus. Next up. Sammy. Here we go. Coming out of one of the buildings was Sammy with her scale mail, Kunu transformed into a 9-tailed fox, Neo Sailor Moon and Ray, with her scale mail surrounding Kurai, who simply formed a smile on her face. Kurai. They even brought the rookies. How are you, little brother? Sammy. I'm not your little brother, girls now. NS Moon. Pink lunar satellite shoots a huge mass of pink power with both hands. Ray. Dragon Moon shot fires the same amount of power from his left arm. Kunu. Spits out a blue flame of fire. Sammy. Jumps and shoots a large amount of golden aura from above. Take this. Kurai. Interesting but not enough, suffer this terrible defeat. Extending both hands upwards, she began to release an enormous amount of power with which she was enveloped and also devoured the attacks thrown by her opponents, creating a kind of force field that began to grow and tried to catch her opponent. Sammy. It sucks us in. English. Kunu. It's very strong being dragged but is held by Serafal. It was about time. Serafal. I'm sorry does the same grabbing Sammy takes the other Surziches. Surziches. Grabs Ray and Neo Sailor Moon and quickly moves away from the place with Serafal now. Sailor Neptune. Arriving with the other two outer mirror Alice. Sailor Saturn. Flagelo di colori dell'arcobaleno, Speranza di Briscola. Several mirrors surrounded Kurai's force field stopping it in the act which caught his attention stopping using said field. This was taken advantage of by Sailor Saturn who threw a large bubble that trapped the evil sailor. Sailor Pluto. You won't escape this so easily, Night Reflection. Asper A. Arriving as Gasper Baylor you won't escape my eyes. The shadows beneath the bubble began to envelop it until only darkness could be seen and inside the bubble Kurai would be paralyzed with a bunch of eyes surrounding her from her point. The mirrors disappeared to give way to two people. Milikas. Take my upgraded shot. Sailor Uranus. It's time to show your power making her space sword appear Sword of Uranus, eliminate. The young man with crimson hair shot from his finger an enormous amount of power of destruction, while Sailor Uranus using Durandal and her sword threw two powerful cuts that combined making an X. Both attacks did not go towards the sphere, but deviated a little. Sailor Neptune. Mirror Alice taking out her own mirror underwater reflection. Sailor Pluto. Death Scream. Sailor Saturn. Tomb of Silence, destroy. The two attacks that were deflected collided with two mirrors and were redirected with more power towards the sphere, along with the attack of the other three sailors, causing an explosion so strong that it sent its executors flying, causing them to violently crash against the ground or a building. The enormous explosion would have enveloped them if it weren't for Sailor Mars. Also burned with the flames of the incinerator them. Ali. Arriving with Ray on his back in his Diabolos Dragon Lucifer mode now Albion. Albion. Satan Compression Divider. Sailor Mars fired an arrow that entered the explosion, thus generating a torrent of purple fire that reached the sky, and after this Volley used his strongest attack, stopping the explosion and enclosing everything in a crystal cube that was becoming smaller and smaller. Albion. The attack is quite strong, resist a little Volley, this will take time to compress. Ali. Easy for you to say landing when I release this since I won't be able to contain it, but Hayato and I will make sure to do a powerful attack. Issei. Arriving next to Sailor Moon and the others who moved away will we combine our Long Ina Smasher? Ali. Better safe than sorry, but we'll need them to be far away. Sailor Moon. Well, in the end they are the most powerful among us. Issei. Well, then you better take distance making a cannon appear from his chest while the four on his back point in the direction where Kurai is. Ali. Summons his 12 demon wings while a cannon comes out of his abdomen get far away. Sailor Moon. Okay, let's retreat. Surziches. Allow me to join the attack taking off his uniform jacket while starting to emanate a lot of crimson aura. The power of destruction is capable of erasing everything. Don't you want to join us Arena? Remember that you also possess it and if you combine it with your silver crystal, it is possible to make a more devastating attack. Sailor Moon. I don't think it's necessary, besides it's better to save my energy just in case. Issei. Yes, after this attack we will be tremendously exhausted. Ali. Go away. Everyone moved away as fast as they could while the three prepared to throw their best attacks. When they were ready, Volley simply undid the cube and the three of them fired. Surziches. Ruin of Extinction. Volley Albion. Satan Lucifer Smasher. Issei Dreg. Infinity Blaster Long Ina Smasher. 3 concentrated attacks were fired towards the place where Kurai was and as soon as they collided, an explosion of greater magnitude was created that sent the three of them flying through the skies. After a couple of minutes, the three of them got up to see how the explosion stopped, but the smoke it left was still visible. Issei. Incredible, that's how far our power has reached. Sailor Moon. That was amazing arriving with the others. Sailor Mars. Swallows thank goodness that doesn't exist in our world. Sailor Mercury. Analyzing the area with her computer on top of her ice lady, I don't detect any traces of her anywhere. Milikas. Did we do it? Sammy. Yeah, we did it. Kurai. Too early to celebrate, don't you think? Suddenly appearing behind the entire group was a Kurai with half of her body missing and clear signs of damage all over her body, all burned and bleeding, but she kept smiling as if nothing was happening. That simple appearance caused a great fear in everyone that even managed to make Volley and Surziches tremble. Kurai. That would have killed any being, even a god starting to regenerate, until he had recovered his appearance in seconds. They are light years away from being able to even kill me, but because of having that possibility, I will not give them the chance to do so. Without giving anyone time to react, he appeared behind Sammy who had taken off his scale mail helmet. Kurai. First I'll start with my little brother. Sammy. Huh. Fafner. Partner react. Seraful Kunu. Sammy. Kurai. Sayonaba bye-bye placing his hands on his head. Without giving anyone time to react, he continued to turn his head so that the only thing that could be heard was the sound of his neck breaking. Everyone was left speechless and without reaction as they watched Sammy's lifeless body fall to the ground and the scale mail disappear. Kunu. Huh. Approaching the boy's lifeless body without any expression. Hey, wake up, this is not the time to joke. Seraful. Yes, the princess is right, she is awake same expressionless and motionless. Greg. The boy has passed away. Sailor Moon. And no covering her mouth with her hands and releasing a couple of tears. Issei. This can't be happening. Kurai. The thing is that if security is happening, it's a shame if maybe he had sworn loyalty to me, maybe I would have left him alive. Milikas. You're a bastard. Kunu. Starting to show anger on her face just like Seraful and Gasper. I'll tear you to pieces, you wretch turning back into a kitsune. Kurai avoided the constant attacks of those who burned with enormous fury, meanwhile Sailor Moon still could not get over the shock of seeing her brother on the ground lifeless. Sailor Moon. No. Issei. Calm takes her by the arms to try to calm her down. Surziches. They are furious and so are we, but we must stop them because they can make a mistake. Seraful. You'll pay dearly for this, you wretch shoots a large sphere of aura that Kurai dodges without problems. Kunu. Approaches and bites his neck with her teeth. Kurai. Oh, they are no longer interesting if they get carried away by anger, takes Kunu's head and removed it by tearing off a bit of her neck. Oh, well the torn off part regenerates and throws Kunu towards Seraful. Catch her. Seraful caught Kunu and when she was ready to leave her to continue fighting, she was pierced in the chest along with the princess of Kyoto by a concentrated beam of Kurai. Seraful. Here I go, Sona, Sammy. Kunu. Mom Sammy. Both fell to the ground lifeless, which shocked the others and made them even angrier. Milikas and Gasper approached even more filled with anger. Milikas. Take this, damn it. Gasper. The bunch of eyes completely stopped Kurai's movement while Milikas fired a large amount of power of destruction with a powerful punch, however she was not held back for long, as by extending her power, she managed to free herself and with a strong kick, she sent the tremendous amount of power towards Gasper. Gasper. Shit. Sailor Saturn. Gasper, barrier of silence. Sailor Saturn moved very quickly placing herself between Gasper and the attack to raise a barrier to protect them from the attack. The power collided, generating a huge amount of smoke from which they apparently did not escape. Milikas. Gasper Hodder turning back. Kurai. Appearing behind him you got careless. Surzich's Sailor Pluto. Milikas. Before he could turn around to do anything, Kurai made some movements with his legs to finish with a kick to Milika's head, separating her from her body in a few seconds and falling to the ground like a sack of potatoes on the ground. Kurai. Notes that he died standing. Wow, but he turned out to be just as much of a fighter as his father until the end. Surziches. Beginning to emanate a larger aura than before. You'll pay for this. He throws himself towards Kurai about to attack with a sphere of destruction. Kurai. I want to play with you a little more using much more power in her right fist and just when Surziches came towards her, she gives him a strong punch that sends him flying quite far away until he is no longer visible. It will take a few minutes to come back. Turns to look at Sailor Moon, who still had not gotten over her shock. Well, now it's my turn to eliminate you. NS Moon. Milika's starting to shed a couple of tears. You are a monster Kurai. Ray. You'll pay for this. Kurai. Cry then I don't care points his finger towards Sailor Moon, see you later sister shoots a large amount of energy. All. Sailor Moon. Just before the attack reached her, Issei along with Neo Sailor Moon and Ray threw themselves next to her to protect her with their bodies, the attack collided and a large cloud of smoke was generated at the site. Sailor Mars. Serena. Sailor Uranus. Holy crap, also a candy head. Kurai. Hahaha. They all noticed that after the smoke clears they can see how a glass barrier protected the four, although they couldn't see anything from outside, but they assumed that they are safe. Sererg. What happened? Sailor Mercury. The silver crystal not only protected its bearer, but also her future heirs and the princess's beloved. Kiba. That means they're safe, right? Kurai. That attack had a lot of power, so that damn crystal is pretty tough. Snaps fingers. I'll destroy them then. All. You won't do anything. Those who remained standing surrounded Kurai, ready to face her, even if they had to give their lives for it. Kurai. Jujuju, well, I will reciprocate that feeling by fighting. Notices that something golden shines from Sammy's body, and a few seconds later a huge golden dragon appeared, but the Dragon King also came out to fight. Fafnir. First that beast of Trihexa took my beloved Asia from me, and now you come to snatch my partner from me. You will not come out well from this. After that, Kurai simply prepared to face her present opponents. Well, they were willing to give their lives just to be able to kill her. A place without any trace of life except for a huge red dragon that wandered aimlessly through that place, although suddenly landing on its head. It was Office. Office. Long time no see. Red as talkative as ever. Big Red. Office. Well, we have to help the world that has your blood and my power. But the small growl released by the huge dragon, it caused an angry expression from Office. Office. It won't do any harm to leave this dimension for a few hours, and in the dimension we'll send everyone to. They'll also recognize you in the same way. Just give us a hand, and maybe I'll try not to kill you. After a few seconds of silence, Big Red let out a loud roar that was heard all over the place and flapped his wings heading to a specific place instead of wandering around. Office. Okay, now let's go lend a hand. They both hurriedly headed to the DXD dimension to help with their problem. Chapter 32, Never Give Up. Last stage. The XD world, capital of Lilith. In both the capital and the few remaining areas of the underworld, the order was given for everyone to remain calm and not go to other areas that were guarded by the best surviving warriors and deities, since thanks to everyone, the dimension change plan was being carried out. At this moment in the Maya meeting palace, Ajuka was talking about something with Cao Cao. Ajuka. It seems to be working, we are almost there thanks to everyone's work. Cao Cao. Yes, but when is it until they give me the object that will help us stop Kurai? Ajuka. Are you worried about them? Me too, to be honest. Cao Cao. I know they're hard to kill, but I get the feeling that something bad is happening. Ajuka. It seems that everything is going according to plan. Sikvera. It's ready, Mr. Ajuka. Arriving next to them were Sikvera Agares and Krom Kruich, who had stayed like Cao Cao. Sikvera carried in his hands a rather long green chain. As soon as he arrived with them, he left the chains in the hands of Cao Cao. Cao Cao. Huh. Sikvera. Those chains are imbued with the seal we used to imprison Trihexa, except this time we've done something different. Cao Cao. Different. Isn't it possible? Ajuka. It's what you think. Instead of sealing her with the ability to flee, what we will do is seal her enormous power, although calculating the power of Trihexa, the most that would do to that Kurai with her sealed power will be to be at the level of a super demon. Cao Cao. That's more than enough for us to defeat her. Squeezing the chains tightly, determined with this we can eliminate that damn thing. Krom Kruich. It'll be a piece of cake with that on. Throwing a banana peel somewhere else, let's go get that hitch. Ajuka. Who taught him that vocabulary? Go and use it to defeat her. The dimension change will be in about 2 hours, so go and destroy that being forever. Cao Cao. Orders are not necessary, Sir May Beelzebub. Sikvera. Have good luck, and if something bad happens to you, know that we have something. Cao Cao. Thanks Eris of Agares, balance breaker. After saying that, Cao Cao was enveloped in a bright light, and after a few seconds he was surrounded by 7 golden spheres with different letters on them. He got on one and flew straight to the battle zone, while Krom Kruich simply took out his wings and followed the hero closely. Sikvera. I hope everything goes well for you. Mr. Beelzebub, look. Humming up to them with a calm voice, but detonating a tone of emotion, was a girl very similar to Office, only with her hair tied up. Ajuka. Lilith, what's going on? Lilith. Lilith warns that Office is here and told Lilith that she brought Great Red. Ajuka. Just like Sikvera makes a face of surprise mixed with excitement. Is it serious? Lilith. Yes. Ajuka. Then this will only take 1 hour if they are here, although what made you want to help Big Red? Sikvera. Well, maybe he wants to save the people who lived with his son. Ajuka. Whatever it is, we have to go and receive them. Let's go. Both? Yes. After those, the 3 went to the place to receive both dragon gods. Human world, battle zone. The place was a tragic scene, since there were only 3 people who were facing Kurai, which were Sailor Mars, who was covered by a kind of white scale mail, covered in purple fire, Surziches, who was wrapped in a crimson aura all over his body, and Fafnir, who was clearly hurt, although Volley was also there, but he was taken by the neck by Kurai. Kurai. Juju, it's interesting that you 4 stayed alive. Sailor Mars. We are still alive thanks to our friends who have fallen trying to stop you. Fafnir. I will not die until I have finished you off. Surziches. Neither do I. If I die without disintegrating the last of your particles, I will not be satisfied. Kurai. Aren't you satisfied? Like those behind you, I suppose. The three of them turned around to find a pitiful scene. Saji was missing all four of his limbs, while Amy was nailed to the ground by ice spikes all over her body. Mina had a large hole in her chest, while Kiba had his head separated from his body, which had a sword stuck in it. Kurai. Or maybe how those over there ended up pointing in another direction. When they turned around they found that Sarayarg had a hole in his chest as well as Lita, who was obviously trying to protect her in vain. In addition to Regulus and Jin lying on the ground as if they were sleeping, you could also see Haruka split in two vertically with Durandal next to her, while Michiru and Satsuna had holes in their heads. Kurai. It was difficult to put those animals to sleep, although I can't kill them because they are sacred gears that would be useful to me. It's a shame not to find the bodies of Sailor Saturn and the Bearer of Baylor, but I suppose they died in that explosion. Sailor Mars. You're a damn flaming arrow from Mars. Combining his sacred gear with his own power, he fired a purple fire arrow at Kurai, who stopped it while burning his hand. Kurai. You seem very upset. Princess of Mars looked sideways at Vali. I guess it's your turn. Vali. And not so fast, Albion. Albion. Divide. Kurai could feel a bit of his power being stolen, but he didn't feel any change in value. Kurai. Aren't you supposed to keep half of it for yourself when you divide power? Vali. The other half is for the person I protect with my wyverns. Looking at Ray. Sorry, if you get to meet my mother tell her I'm sorry. Sailor Mars. Vali. Hafner and Surziches moved quickly towards Kurai, but it was too late as Kurai stuck the fire arrow in Vali's head, causing it to catch fire, and being attacked from within his body, caused worse damage than they thought, and he fell dead to the ground, his scale mail disappearing, but not the one Sailor Mars was wearing. Kurai. Leaves Vali's body to jump to avoid Surziches, and Fafner's quick charge Olay lands on the ground far from them. Not bad, I could be a good bull runner. Sailor Mars. First my friends and now the person I love, you'll pay for this, notices Surziches and Fafner standing next to her. What are we going to do, Surziches? Surziches. I'm too upset to even think about Sailor Mars. Fafner. Let's just attack until we're satisfied. Sailor Saturn. Don't rush. Arriving in front of them was Sailor Saturn, although now she was a bit different, with whiter skin and a dark aura surrounding her, as well as a third eye on her forehead. Surziches. Sailor Saturn, you're alive, but where's Gasper? Fafner. I see, so they did the same thing as the Gremory heiress and the vampire boy in that confrontation against the Hakuryu team. Sailor Mars. What thing? Fafner. They are fused, so to speak. It's like the wyvern that surround you thanks to the Hakuryu. Sailor Mars. Vali. Sailor Saturn. It's not time to cry, Sailor Mars. I know that very well. Watching with the corner of my eye the corpses of Haruka, Satsuna and Michiru. We must first destroy that thing before shedding tears. Walking towards Kurai. Kurai. Jujuju, I've always wanted to face the feared Sailor of Destruction, but why don't you respect me like you do Mom or my sister? Sailor Saturn. Since your existence was erased, my possible respect for you was also erased, and eliminating my family and friends is something we will never forgive. Opening the third eye on her forehead. Gasper. You're going to pay dearly for your audacity, Kurai. Kurai. Go ahead then, I'll play with you four before eliminating my sister. After that the four began a confrontation without holding back against Kurai. Meanwhile something was happening inside the crystal. Inside the silver crystal. Wherever you looked everything was crystal clear and you could see your own reflection. Inside there were only four people in the place. Issei. Serena, wake up. Serena. Huh? Serena was waking up with the help of Issei. As she sat up she could see that Trey and Rini were also next to her, who were extremely happy to see that she opened her eyes. Rini. Serena, you're okay. Serena. What happened? Ray. That damn thing attacked us and… Serena. I already remembered my brother and some of our friends are dead because of Kurai trying not to cry, but some tears come out. We have failed. Issei. Of course not, Serena, we still have what the boys will bring us to face her. Serena. What if she doesn't arrive in time? Besides, what's the point of trying to stop her if she's already killed everyone? Issei. Why do you say that? Rini. The silver crystal tells us what is happening. Ray. It is our will. Suddenly, from one of the walls, you could see what was happening outside. Everyone dead except for a few who were fighting fiercely against Kurai in a vain attempt to stop her. Issei. It can't be, even Vali has fallen. Greg. I'm going to be completely honest with you, if you continue like this you won't be able to defeat her either. Serena. And what do you know, underdeveloped lizard? They killed everyone and even if we defeat them what will be the point of returning to a world where my friends won't be? Issei. Hugging Serena. I know what you mean, I couldn't live in a world without those fighting lovers who are my friends. I just considered Vali a friend, but if we don't stop Kurai's feet here, many other people could suffer what we did. Serena. But what are we going to do? Greg. I'll ignore the comment you made earlier and say, let's unlock the full potential of that silver crystal, the one of three. The three of them looked at the gauntlet somewhat surprised. Issei. What do you mean? Greg. I say that I will unlock the true power of Great Red latent in you, in addition to releasing all the hidden potential within the crystals of these girls. Serena. Potential. But my maximum form is the eternal one. Rini. Mine is the super one. Ray. I don't even use mine, as I see it as decoration compared to the bossed gear too. Nana. That bad habit of always depending on bossed gear. Greg. Well then, Nana will also help me since in the case of Ray, we will have to unlock the true power of her lineage on her mother's side. Nana. Uncle Dreg. Greg. I like to be called uncle instead of Oppai Dragon. Okay, wait a few minutes together. After that they both fell silent. Issei simply sat down, and the other three stood next to him very close together. Rini. Issei, do you think that with this we can defeat Kurai? Issei. If Drake says so, we'll have to believe it since it's thanks to him that I've always gotten out of every problem, even though I named him the Oppai Dragon, he still supports me. Ray. If Dad and Mr. Drake say so, then I will be very calm. Serena. I just want to go back to our world with everyone. Issei. Hey Serena, you once told me how the battle against Sailor Galaxies ended. Do you remember when you told me that they came back? Serena. But I feel like it's different. Issei. Hey, when we defeat Kurai I promise that they will come back to life and accompany us to a bright future. Ray. Dad is right, Mom, you will live the same future as me. Rini. Although my original time does not exist, I think it will not be so bad to live this present with you. Serena. Yes, we will defeat Kurai and we will all return home together. Issei. That's the spirit, huh? Everyone stood up and were certainly surprised to see that both boasted gear appeared emanating a large amount of aura, while boss sounded every second. Issei. What's wrong Dreg? Greg. We have managed to unlock your and Ray's new power, now it's time for you to help Serena and Rini with a good transfer. Nana. Take out your 3 silver crystals and keep them together, but not touching each other to avoid another catastrophe. The 3 did as requested and made their crystals appear, although it could be noticed that Rini's was pink and Ray's was red. At that moment Issei put the boasted gear on top of the 3 and transfer sounded. All the transferred power made the 3 princesses of the moon feel an indescribable sensation. Nana. Now, Serena and Rini must transform saying, lunar cosmic power, transformation. Greg. Partner, Ray, you already know what to do, but Ray breaks the green gem of your boasted gear and places your crystal there and uses your scale mail. Serena. Understood, this power that I feel is as big as the universe cosmic power moon, transformation. Rini. This power I feel is greater than my mother's lunar cosmic power, transformation. Ray. Come on Nana, bossed gear scale mail. Issei. We have to do it, Drake Diabolo's dragon and without a chant. How surprising. Nana. Boasted gear princess moon crimson promotion. Greg. Bossed gear, true TXT. Issei. Huh. Suddenly the place began to fill with an immense power that made a red, pink and silver aura appear throughout the place. Human world, battle zone. Everyone had already grown tired during the battle. At this moment Sailor Saturn was being pulled by the hair, while Surzich's, Ray already detransformed and Fafnir, were badly wounded on the ground looking helplessly at the scene. Kurai. They didn't do anything wrong, if they had faced any other being, victory would be at their mercy, although not assured, applying more force while holding the needle of silence in his other hand. Tell me, don't you want to join me? I will allow them to live as a happy couple and perhaps repopulate the world, like Adam and Eve. Sailor Saturn. And there's no point in doing that if you're the one in charge of that world. Asper. Even if we die, we'll die together instead of living together in a world of yours. Kurai. Well, I just wanted to be merciful, gripping the gun tightly. Goodbye. Before being able to stab her with a weapon, everyone felt that the crystal where Serena was exploding, emanating a power that made Kurai sweat, who threw Sailor Saturn to where the others were and stared at the enormous manifestation of power. Kurai. What is this? Fafnir. That enormous power, ha 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 ha. Kurai. What's so funny to you? Fafnir. Apparently they have managed to achieve a power beyond ours. Ray. Is that power Serena's? Surzich's. They just completely surpassed our top 10 strongest existences. Sailor Saturn. It must be thanks to the bossed ability that Issei has and the infinite power of the silver crystal. After the light stopped illuminating, everyone could see Issei in his Diabolo's dragon form, although they noticed something different. Neo Sailor Moon now had angel wings on her back, and Ray, her scale mail, was now pink and red, in addition to the gems changing to a silver color. Ray. This new power is incredible, I feel my legs shaking. NS Moon. This is amazing, it's the eternal form. Issei. So this is the true DXD. Turns to see Serena how. Everyone was certainly surprised as it now seemed that Serena had grown a little more in addition to a total change in appearance and power. Ray. It's an incredible power. Surziches. I knew he had potential, but to reach such levels. Fafnir. Hahaha you're lost Kurai. Sailor Saturn. What do you say, Gasper? Asper. It's incredible, I can't say more. Kurai. Grrr, a simple change of appearance won't do anything creates a purple sphere and kicks it towards where he is disappears from my sight. By simply lifting his staff he caused the sphere to disintegrate before reaching them, which left Kurai surprised and angry. Kurai. Who are you? Now I have reached a new transformation, something beyond Sailor Moon and Neo Queen Serenity. Now I will be known as Sailor Cosmos points her finger at Kurai and I will make you pay for all your sins in the name of the moon. Kurai. Grrr try if you can. Issei. I'll accompany you then, let's defeat that evil woman. Sailor Cosmos. Okay turns to see Neo Sailor Moon and Ray you guys, I want you to take everyone's corpses to the underworld, you'll know what to do with the silver crystal. NS Mooney, huh? Ray. Do something with it. Sailor Cosmos. I'll be back and repeated, you'll know what to do. Pow cow. Hey Haidu. Issei heard a scream and turned around to then catch some green chains that were thrown by some newly arrived Cow Cow and Crom Crouch. Pow cow. I see you don't need us, at least keep that thing with which you will defeat that woman notices the corpses of the others shit, we didn't make it in time. Crom Crouch. I wanted to fight her, but if the Securite and that woman from the moon have that power, it will be better to fight them after this. Ray. Listen up everyone, this is what we're going to do. NS Moon. We'll leave the rest to them. Both went to where the others were, and after explaining the situation they shit the corpses of all of which they enclosed in some bubbles that Sailor Saturn created, and with the help of Cow Cow and Crom Crouch, they left the area leaving nothing but Sailor Cosmos, Issei and Kurai on site. Kurai. Well, show us what you have, little big red and heir to the lunar kingdom. Issei. Ready my princess. Keeping the chains in his armor. Sailor Cosmos. Heh, whenever you want my dragon raising her new scepter high. After that they both quickly went to where Kurai was to start the final confrontation against this. Chapter 33 Kurai's defeat. Human world, battle zone. The battle had reached enormous levels of power, as at this moment Kurai and Issei were having a punching duel that had driven away all the clouds around them. Kurai. Gets punched in the face you hit hard bro, let's see if you can resist it just as well gives him a strong knee to the chest. Issei. Steps back a little from the blow it didn't hurt me that much, now we're on equal terms. Kurai. I'm at 90%, even though I'll lose at 100%. Sailor Cosmos. Moon of extinction. Issei moved away from Kurai, which left her confused, but as she looked down at the ground, she could see Sailor Cosmos conjure a huge mass of the power of destruction and throw it at her. Kurai. That won't hurt me stops him with his own sphere of the same size, but has a hard time keeping it, this power is gigantic. Issei. Stands next to Sailor Cosmos and points his 4 cannons at the sphere's infinity blaster. Greg. D degrees D. The 4 cannons fired an enormous destructive power that combined with Sailor Cosmos's attack, devoured a rival's attack, and Kurai herself received both attacks directly. Kurai. I. A huge explosion was generated in the sky, Issei stood next to Sailor Cosmos to cover her with his wings, avoiding the smoke that rose due to the attack. After a few seconds they both observed the pitiful state that Kurai was left in, being practically a floating torso. Sailor Cosmos. It looked bad, but it's not enough to eliminate her. Issei. Yes notices how the number 10 is marked on the gauntlet on his left arm Drag, what does this mean? Drag. I'm preparing myself, you are more than enough to be able to eliminate that damn Kurai, however I must help with something else. Sailor Cosmos. In the transportation from the underworld to my dimension. Drag. Yes, and I must also prevent Albion and Verita from abandoning the bodies of their companions, especially because you said you will return, and I believe in that. Issei. I understand, then go. The counter reached 0, and after a green light enveloped the field and dispersed, a huge red dragon appeared in the place. Greg. Ah, free again since the fight with Typhoon, well partner, I'm retreating to the underworld. Can you handle her? Sailor Cosmos. It's even taking a while to regenerate, I think we can do it, let me help you get there faster. Making a movement with his scepter he made Drake disappear after being enveloped in a white light, after that they stared at Kurai who had already completely regenerated, although she looked very angry. Kurai. You will pay for hurting me. Sailor Cosmos. Try it, we will defeat you anyway turns to look at Issei do you have your chains ready, honey? Issei. Showing the chain in his hand more than ready dear, but let's try to distract her in this fight so we can use it. Kurai. Stop talking like a cute couple, making another sphere appear which he kicks so that it goes straight to both of them. Issei Sailor Cosmos. Let's go. They both dodged the attack and proceeded to attack Kurai, Issei from up close and Sailor Cosmos from a distance. Underworld, capital of Lilith. All the inhabitants watched with some surprise as several divinities and powerful beings flew over the city and raised a great barrier to protect them, while in the palace Ajuka along with Sikvera, Falbium, Lilith and Office were looking at the enormous barrier that was in the place. Ajuka. Disappearing a magic circle that was on his ear, it seems that the barrier already completely covers the areas that were saved, these being Gremory, Citri, Baal, Belial, Astaroth, Agares, Glacial Ebolas, Phoenix and Abaddon. Sikvera. 9 out of 72 territories, it's a big loss if you think about it. Albium. Counting the capital we have 10, in the end in these 10 places are the surviving beings of this catastrophe that we will take to a much better place. Miguel. We have a terrible emergency. Hearing an agitated Miguel, everyone followed him to reach the courtyard of the place, finding the corpses of the DXD members and the sailor scouts on the ground, the only survivors who brought them being Ray, Surziches, Hotaru, Gasper, Cao Cao, Crom Cruich, Neo Sailor Moon and Ray Fafner had returned to Sammy's lifeless body, while Regulus and Jin were next to their respective lifeless carriers. Sikvera. What happened? Gasper. She turned out to be more powerful than we thought. Albium. And where is the Security and the blonde girl? Surziches. They kept fighting, but it seems they unlocked a power that managed to match Kurai. Ray. It made her tremble, so it's a good sign. Office. Then everything is in the hands of the little red dragon. Lilith. Lilith has a lot of confidence in the little big red. Ajuka. Fine, but what do we do with them? Miguel. Are we going to bury them? NS Moon. No, showing her pink crystal I can bring the girls back with Sammy, as long as their star seeds are fine we can bring them back, but them looking at those from DXD, I don't know if it will work, since we don't have the same capabilities, so to speak. Miguel. If you think it will work then it will, young lady, but with those bodies in that state, we will use the Sephiroth Grail. Asper. Valerie's sacred gear. Miguel. Yes, we managed to find it after the death of Valerie Teeps, and we passed it on to one of our best servants, Griselda Quarta, although bringing dead people could bring her problems, if it is only about repairing their bodies, then it will not endanger her mental health. Surziches. What are you waiting for then, Miguel? Bring Griselda immediately. Miguel. I'll be right back. A few minutes had passed and Miguel returned accompanied by Griselda, who with the help of the Sephiroth Grail, managed to repair the bodies of the deceased, something that surprised Ray and Hotaru quite a bit as the process was. Griselda. Everything is ready, Mr. Miguel. Miguel. Okay, now don't worry, this young lady will do the rest. Ray. With me standing next to Rini, after all we are the same person just with different blood. NS Moon. If you're right then help me sis. Ray. Whatever you say, sister. They both pointed their respective object where they had their own silver crystal, Ray in her gauntlet and Neo Sailor Moon in her scepter, to the sky, and together they said. Both. Lunar healing, action. The kind of magic different from what they know began to emanate, even those who were not the target felt as if the fatigue and all evil in their body disappeared, while for those who fought against Kurai, their wounds began to heal in a few seconds. After several minutes they could see how the dead began to open their eyes slowly. Miguel. It's working. Ajuka. The power of that gem is incredible. Both. Stop already. The resurrected ones got up somewhat confused, but when they realized the situation they became happy. Saji. We came back to life. Amy. It seems so. Lita. Oh, being dead isn't nice. Sererg. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you, but at least we're back. Regulus. Mr. Sererg. He and Jin jump on their respective owners very happy. Mina. We're alive, Kiba, we're alive riding on top of this. Kiba. Yes I know, don't pull my hair. Sammy. That was a feeling I don't want to experience again, is hugged tightly by Serafal and Kunu. I said, I don't want to experience it again. Serafal. You're back with us. Kunu. You don't know how we felt when you died, stupid. Hafner. Welcome back partner. Ollie. Albion, didn't you leave? Albion. Volley, you are my partner and best friend, I would never abandon you until I see that you have fully matured, besides there is someone else who I think wants to see you. Ray. Volley, hugging him with great enthusiasm. I didn't think I'd see you again. Ollie. Sorry, Ray, reciprocating the hug a little red. Hotaru. Dad, Haruka. Mom. Michiru jumps to hug Haruka and Michiru. Michiru. We're sorry to have worried you, Hotaru. Haruka. Yes, I'm very sorry. Looks at Gasper. You took good care of her, right? Gasper. Why yes. Baylor. I would say it was the other way around. Asper. Shut up. Surziches. Milika's excitedly going to hug Milika's when he is pushed by a strong attack by Rini, who had transformed to hug Milika's. Rini. Oh my god, I'm so glad you're back. Milika's. I'm sorry I promise not to leave like that again, giving him a kiss on the forehead. I promise for that kiss. Besides, I wouldn't like to have my head kicked off again. Ray. It's good to see you again, cousin, coming over to say hello. Surziches. Aya, why didn't I fall? Notices he was being held by Setsuna. I'm also glad to see everyone again, helps him get up so she can give him a hug. Cow. Ah, even though it may not seem like it, I like happy endings. Suddenly, everyone in the place almost fell over when they felt a great tremor, except Mina, who hit the ground face first. Mina. But what happened? Lilith. Lilith warns you that the territories that we will take to the dimension of these girls have already separated from the earth. Mina. The blow hurt me, now I see two Office looking at Office and Lilith. Office. After this, she will take us racing, pointing to Haruka. Lilith. Racing. Haruka. Gulp. Since when did my car become a place for children to ride? Ah yeah, since I started taking care of Hadaru, and now what's next? Bajuka. There will be multiple shocks, now the next step is to open the dimensional gap with the help of Cauldron being used by Miguel, Office and Lilith. Office. Then we will fall on the back of Big Red and he will take us to his dimension. Amy. I understand perfectly. How much will it take? Falbium. About 5 minutes, so we have to hold on and not leave the barrier formed, since if they get lost in the dimensional gap without protection they can be eliminated. Mina. Oh, how scary, hug me tight, Kiba. Kiba. Mina, you're squeezing me blue because Mina has it by the neck. Mina. Oh sorry, let's him breathe. Bajuka. Although we could use more help to maintain the barrier. Dreg. Did anyone ask for a celestial dragon? Everyone could see through the open roof to Dreg in his released form, who landed on top of the place to speak through the open roof. Dreg. I'm going to give you a hand since my partner doesn't need me anymore. Albion. Someday I will also get out of this place. Dreg and Jeej, you look good, my friend. Prom Cruich. You owe me a battle, Dreg. Dreg. Thanks Albion, and whenever you want. Brita. You should ask Tiamag what he thinks. Dreg. Don't call her idiots. Lita. Hey, where's Serena and Issei? Hadaru. Don't worry, with the power they've reached, they'll take care of Kurai alone. Setsuna. What do you mean? They could not continue the conversation as everything began to shake again, that being the signal for Office and Lilith, who went to open the dimensional gap with Miguel, who was carrying Kalbrand, while Dreg and everyone present decided to help maintain the barrier so that no one would leave even by accident. Human world, battle zone. At this moment Kurai was on the ground receiving a shower of blows from Issei. Issei. Come on. Kurai. Gets hit again, get off of me, wraps his fist with his power and throws a punch that sends him flying to where Sailor Cosmos is. Sailor Cosmos. Our power has increased, but that doesn't mean you should be overconfident. Issei. I'm sorry, I get carried away a lot, getting up quite sore. I think there's not much left. Kurai. Come here, you piece of shit. Quickly approaches Issei, very upset. I'll return the favor. Issei. You were careless making the chain appear. After the gauntlet said transfer, the chain was thrown towards Kurai, completely enveloping her. Kurai. Huh. Issei. With this you are lost. Sailor Cosmos. And with this you will be defeated by the power of the Silver Moon Crystal. The whole place was enveloped by the enormous power of Sailor Cosmos. Kurai began to feel how little by little the power of Trihexa left his body, disappearing completely. In addition to the entire almost deserted place, plants and flowers of all kinds began to emerge little by little. Kurai. What's happening? Sailor Cosmos. I'm purifying you, although it seems that the silver crystal will not eliminate you because it still considers you a daughter of the Moon Kingdom, and it seems that it is something with the Earth. Kurai. What do I care about a small planet when I can have the entire universe? Issei. It's over, Kurai, with the power of Trihexa sealed and purified you have no choice left. Kurai. Wait, haha, smiling a little, I'm not lost yet. Sailor Cosmos. What do you mean? Kurai. I'm going to a place known as the Cauldron where stars are born and die. If I'm reborn there I'll come back with even more power. Issei. And how do you think you'll go to a place that is wherever it is? Kurai. I'll let my star seed guide me using the little strength he still has left. He breaks the chains, they already sealed a lot of my power, but I can still use this. Raises his hand and pierces his own chest, which surprised his two opponents. I'll escape, and I'll come back to kill them. Takes out a crystal from his chest. Kurai. Try to catch my star seed with his hand. He opens a crack towards the dimensional gap and throws his star seed there, tries to catch it. Issei. Unfortunate, Infinity Blaster. The 4 cannons aimed at Kurai and fired a huge blast of power that hit their opponent, completely eliminating her from the face of the earth, but even with it they were not calm. Sailor Cosmos. If her star seed reaches that place I mentioned, she is able to return safely. Issei. We have to avoid it, then I have a plan. Makes Ascalon appear, who emanated a large amount of red and dark aura. If I have unlocked the power of Great Red and Office, then I can enter the dimensional gap. Sailor Cosmos. What are we waiting for? Let's go there at once. Maybe I can purify her star seed. Issei did what he had planned, thus managing to open a crack to the dimensional gap through which both entered the dimensional gap, willing to reach the star seed to avoid a possible resurrection by Kurai, while definitively leaving the DXD world, which apparently began to recover its long-lost vitality. Chapter 34. Goodbye DXD world. Dimensional gap. Through the place without feet or head was floating the only living inhabitant of that world, Big Red, carrying on his back the surviving part of the underworld, and those who were inside had to grab onto whatever they could because he was going very fast, while the deities and powerful beings maintained the barrier. In the palace everyone clung to what they could. Saji. I don't remember Big Red being so huge. Seraphol. This is your home, Saji, you know it better than us, and you're not going to go any bigger than the underworld because it would destroy us all. Lita. Stop talking and hold on tight. While Great Red was traveling with the surviving part of the underworld on his back, following them closely was a kind of crystal which was being followed by Sailor Cosmos and Issei, who were holding hands going at full speed. Sailor Cosmos. It's hard to catch up with her. Issei. And even more so with the utmost care we must take not to lose our power in the dimensional gap. Sailor Cosmos. The only way to catch her is the moment we arrive, so get ready to catch her. Issei. Yes. The journey through the gap continued until reaching the Sailor's dimension. Sailor's world, Hakawa Temple. The place was quite quiet as it was a sunny day free of clouds. Molly was visiting the temple and was sitting at the entrance caressing Artemis, who was there with Luna and Diana. Molly. Sighs, it's been a day since they left. Where would Cao Cao have gone? And it seems that Serena accompanied him because she normally comes here. Looks at the trio of cats. What do you think, kitties? Luna. Meow, let's hope they're okay. Diana. PRRRR, come back safe. Artemis. Mayo, I hope you're okay. Oh yeah, scratches there, this is better than a massage. Opens her eyes to see the sky and is surprised. Mayo. Molly. Huh. Looks at the sky equally surprised. What is that? The 4 of them had a surprised face because up above there was a kind of white crack opening from which a kind of earth that floated began to emerge little by little. Molly. What's going on? Luna. That thing looks like a piece of land. Molly. The cat spoke out. She faints, but Artemis turns into a human to stop her from hitting the ground. Artemis. Holy shit. Luna. There's a girl present. Diana. Bucket. Moon. Bullseye. Diana. Wait, isn't that floating? The 3 of them could notice that when the earth finished rising, it remained floating in the sky, leaving the city in darkness. Luna. Quickly go inside and turn on the light. Artemis. I'll take care of that, starting to spit fire, thus creating illumination for them. Diana. How useful, Holy Father, how big will that thing be and what will it be? Moon. It must be the size of Japan because I can't see the sky anywhere. Artemis. Stop spitting for a moment, maybe it's something the girls and boys are carrying. Spits fire again to light them up. Luna. Whatever it is, let's keep an eye on anything that happens. Artemis. Stop spitting. Diana. Go to Ascalon 2, which is inside the temple. It's good that Ice left it with me in case of any eventuality. Diana. Yes. Diana went to do as requested, while Artemis and Luna stood looking confused at the piece of stone. Artemis carrying Molly in her arms, and were also able to observe how all the lights in the city turned on to shed some light on the confusing situation. Lilith's capital. Everyone was calm since the constant shaking had stopped, but now the deities and powerful warriors had to use their power to levitate the huge pieces of earth to prevent them from falling. In the palace, Ajuka was giving the following orders. Ajuka. Okay, now the next thing is to move this to a different plane to avoid being in the same world as humans, that is, create an underworld in this place. Ali. Obviously I verified the existence of another plane, it exists, but it is deserted and lifeless. Seraphol. Well, we will bring life to it, but how will we get there? Mina. This will not be easy for humans to forget. Halbium. We will take care of that later, and we will use the same methods as when we did it in our dimension. Surziches. Then we will go to the city, since erasing this from the memory of many will be almost impossible. Rini. It doesn't matter, I'll make sure that humans know about the supernatural world anyway. Ray. What do you mean, Rini? Rini. Well, since Irina cannot be the Neo-Queen because she will not be able to marry Darien, who was the prince of the land, then I, who am her daughter. After a few minutes of explaining his idea, everyone nodded. Lita. Well, it wouldn't be bad to take advantage of this temporary problem that happened to you he. Kiba. That would be very useful to save us the trouble of explanations and such he. Rini. Doesn't it bother you to have a Neo-Queen in your future kingdom? Ray. Well, it sounds interesting, and it's obvious that this will bring many changes since my future was different. Setsuna. But at least it remains, which is what counts. Ray. Yes, you are right. Greg. Sorry to interrupt, but we have to go. After that, the sailors and the members of DXD who lived with them the most got on top of Drag and all left the floating city which would disappear a few seconds later, along with the other floating lands, and decided to head to land, although they did not realize that a golden crystal tried to fly into space, but it was caught by Issei, who had it in his 2 hands. Issei. This crystal is quite strong, it's trying to drag me, preventing me from escaping from his hands. I think I'll destroy it. Sailor Cosmos. No need to do that. Coming up to him, hold it tightly with you, as I'm curious about what that place is like. Issei. Huh, are you sure about this, Sailor Cosmos? Sailor Cosmos. Yes, just hold on to her and while she drags you we will go where she wants to go. Don't worry, I will give you the energy to endure the space. Issei. Space. Well, if you say so, it's okay, I'll trust you. Together they began to head to where the crystal enclosed in Issei's hands guided them, taking them off the planet. The Kawa Temple. Upon arriving at the place, Drag had become a form of mini-dragon, so as not to attract attention, although it worked for them since they saw on the news that what happened was dismissed as a sudden astronomical event and collective hallucination, although of course there was no shortage of people who said that what they saw was real. The night was coming, and everyone told what happened in the DXD world, except the deaths to the cats and Molly, who upon waking up asked for explanations, and Cao Cao could not lie to her despite the opposition of the sailors. Cao Cao told her his origin and everything that happened. At this moment everyone was in the living room watching TV where they were still talking about what happened since it had gotten dark. Amy. Where will Serena and Issei be? Sererg. Maybe they are taking some time before coming back, but it is clear that they are here since as we landed I could feel their energies. Serafal. Anything will be fine, what do you think about this Molly? Turning to see the aforementioned who was hugging Cao Cao. Molly. Everything is surprising and a bit confusing with the dimensions, although something deep down told me that Serena was hiding something from me, although I have to admit that I didn't think it was Sailor Moon. Cao Cao. The surprises are varied and quite big, but well, you will ask them all your questions when they return. Office. I feel like they arrived. Hearing what Office said, everyone went out to the entrance and could see Issei in the sky carrying Serena in his arms, although when they landed they could see that Serena was carrying a bundle wrapped in blankets in her arms. Mina. Serena, Issei are finally back. Issei. Hey guys, what's Molly doing here? Cao Cao. Don't worry, he already knows everything, so there's no problem. Serena. Wow, then I have a lot to tell you. Molly. Take care of everything in its time, I don't plan on bombarding you with questions now he. Sammy. Hey Serena, what's that in your arms? When they both realized that everyone was already curious about what they were carrying wrapped in blankets, they decided to say it. Serena removed the blankets a little, revealing a black-haired girl with a crescent moon on her forehead, which left them all confused. Note. Use Chibi as a reference. Ray. And who is that girl? Setsuna. That appearance, don't tell me what it is. Serena. Yes, it's about Kurai. As soon as his name was said, everyone became extremely alert, although the only one who approached calmly was Drag in his mini-dragon form. Drag. Let me get back to bossed gear, I've been like this until last night for doing practically nothing, disappearing and reappearing in bossed gear. Okay, now I want to ask, how did this happen? Issei. Well, it's something strange, but we'll explain it later, but let's say that. Serena. She's not evil anymore, right Kurai? Kurai. Ray. It seems that he only knows how to say his name he. Milikas. And to think that that brat killed us. Sammy. I started to shake, but since it's apparently harmless. Who knew? It's quite confusing. Serena. We better go in and explain what happened. After that, everyone began to enter the temple to listen to what happened, although Office stopped Issei for a moment outside the temple. Issei. Is something wrong Office? Office. The underworld is already in a new home, although I would like to show you this. Office made some movements with her hand and opened a crack in the dimensional gap, but through it, you could see a huge landscape full of life. Issei. What is that beautiful place? Office. Even though we left the world, it became full of life again. Do you know why? Issei. Maybe it has to do with when Sailor Cosmos used her power to purify everything. I think it was all thanks to Sailor Cosmos. Office. I understand, well even if we abandoned it, it is likely that this world will be filled with life again, even if that would take thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Issei sighs, well, at least that world will be fine without intelligent lives for a long time. Office closes the gap, I just showed it to you so you don't worry about that world, now let's go inside. Issei yes, thanks office. Serena what are you doing, come on, I'm going to start telling. Issei yes, let's go, I wonder what life will be like from now on. After that, they both entered the temple to tell what had happened and continue with their lives. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown in left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.